Is this? Oh, what a mess. Can you hear me? Does anybody? Oh, clearly the hair is not really what I needed it to be for today. I see there's somebody in here. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please put it in the chat. Oh, gosh. No one's telling me they can hear me. Oh, wait. Did I turn my sound on? Hi, Nicole. Can you hear me? Yeah. How are you? Awesome. I'm so glad you guys can hear me. I clearly didn't look in the mirror because look at this nest egg I have on my head. Bleh. How is everyone? It's Monday. Woohoo. How are we feeling? Oh, I don't know. I think I need to buy a new mic. Like this little $40 Amazon mic like isn't really my vibe. I think I need to get another one. I was about to take a nap. I know that's right. I need to take a nap. I had a late night last night. Like do you ever like get in those grooves as an adult and you're just like getting things done and you're just knocking things out and you're like, "Oh, it's 12:30. I should probably be sleeping." But then you're just like in a groove and you're just doing things. That was me last night. So I should have been asleep, but I just kept doing things and kept doing things. And then I looked up and it was like 2:30. And then I looked up again and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So, then I'm taking my hair out this week. Ah! So it's just a lot. It is just a lot. Do you go to school on Mondays, Nicole? Also, I would not advise doing your hair in a camera like this because I can't really see what I'm doing. Yeah. Oh, okay. What time are your classes? I'm hot. Welcome in, everyone. Somebody told me the other day, they're like, you need to have an intro. I'm like, I need to have an intro. I need to do this. I need to do that. I'm like, why do I have to do so much? I'm trying my best. Why do I have to have an intro? So, and then I like, oh, you get out of school at 1:30. Oh, okay, cool. And then I'm like so extra that if you tell me I have to have an introduction, I'm like, okay, how many outfits can I get in this? Do I need a twirl? Can we get my best angle? What does the lighting look like? How long should my intro be? So I'm like, so I don't know if I should do an intro because I'm I don't want to say I'm not dramatic. I'm definitely extra. So if I get in front of an intro, it's going to be like a whole production for like a 30-second intro of me twirling around and doing something ridiculous. But anyways, I scheduled this live because I like chatting with you guys on Monday. It like helps my um I like kickstarting my week, like talking and doing this because I feel like I don't know, I just like it. I like being here. I like chatting. So I don't know if anybody actually wants to hear about the Texas spring game. Hold on, let me move my desk. It's a little low. I feel like I'm working. Make a poster intro with the music in the background. Yeah, like if I make an intro, it has to be something spectacular for 30 seconds. So now I'm like, how do I make something amazing for 30 seconds? So I need some of my creative friends to reach out to me and be like, this is what you should do. So I'm thinking like I always have these like crazy ideas that I think of what I should do. And then when I actually record them and do them, they're so goofy that I'm like, no one's ever going to like like, no one's ever gonna see this because this is like too much. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think I do enough lives to like have an intro, but I always think it's cool when people have intros and I'm having one of those days where every time I look at myself, I want to fix something because what is up with this microphone? But, anyways, how's everybody else doing? Do you want to hear me talk about the Longhorn spring game? What are we thinking? Or do we want to talk about something else? I know this week is the NFL draft. Yay! Love the NFL, love draft week. I usually don't get like it's funny, I don't get like all wrapped around draft week like a lot of people do. But I do like watching the draft. Y'all's DB suck. Oh, that's so cute. Um, I love that people watch the Texas game and don't know that a lot of our starters didn't play. So, yes, if I was watching that game, I would probably think the same thing. But I think so. Two of our starting corners didn't play. And then the other amount of our starters only were allowed to play one or two drives, and they were on the white team. And so obviously, Ewers comes out, throws that interception, and white team scores touchdown on defense. And Sark is like, starters out, all the new guys in. So it was cool. It was cool to see like all the guys we know are going to play. Like we didn't need to see them out there, so that's why a lot of people were like, "Oh, your DB suck. Your this sucks." I'm like, well, yeah, because they're like second team and some of them were freshmen. So a lot of the people that we played on Saturday were freshmen, which was amazing, which was cool to see some of them get in there. So it was exciting. It was also exciting to know that like Texas is at a place where they can like not play half the people that are going to start. Well, not half. There's about 4 or 5 starters that didn't start or didn't play at all. They didn't even suit out. And then you get the first team in there and Ewers throws a pick six and then the entire defense has to come out and then they don't get to play. But it was nice because it reminded me of being able to see the other guys. And that's why I went. So I made a video and I was like, I was curious to see what they were going to do with Ewers and Manning. But then I heard Ewers was only going to play one or two series. So I was like, all right, whatever. But then it was nice to see like Manning go out there and like do his thing. And then it was nice to see so many young guys like get their chances to go out there and play because they're backups. And so it's cool. I also think that like embarrass your team for no reason. It depends on how you look at it. Like if you're a Texas fan and you know what we have, it wasn't an embarrassment because you're letting the young guys get out there and see what they can do and see what your depth actually looks like and see what you got. So I thought it was really good. I thought like, I mean, it's a spring game. So like there's no winners at a spring game. That's really ridiculous. But I think it was nice just to see all the talent out there. I really wanted to go see some freshmen because I wanted to actually see like what they looked like. And so we got that. So it was cool. It was a really good experience. And the even better part is Trey Owens, which no one's probably ever going to talk about, but he was the quarterback for the Orange team. He was like huge, highly touted recruit out of Texas. He goes to the University of Texas. He decides to sit behind Ewers and Manning. And people are like, what is this kid doing? He's going to be a star. Like, why is he going to UT? Goes to UT, gets in the game and shines. And so kudos to Trey Owens for absolutely going out there, knowing your third string, and just putting in work. It was great. Aaron Butler was there. That was cool. I don't know. It was just fun. It was just nice to be there. The atmosphere was great. So it was just a fun spring game. I do want to say that I wish that Coach Prime would do fight song and school song because I think it's important. So that's how I feel. Hey, Alfaru. How good is the O-line Texas transfer? So the Texas O-line transfer is, I don't want to say he's a project because he redshirted last year. So I think the project is over, but he does need to kind of lose some more weight and get more fine-tuned into what needs to happen. I think he's a big get for CU. I think that's great. What also is great is it symbolizes that Texas program is back and people want our recruits. And as soon as they hit the portal, they're getting interest and people are grabbing them, which is amazing. But yeah, I mean, he's going to take some work. I mean, I don't think he's going to come in and move the needle per se, but I think with some work and some coaching, he will. I think he'll get better. I think his ceiling is he has a good ceiling. So yeah, I think it was a huge get for CU. And the truth is Texas has a really good O line. And they have a really good so Texas has this thing, and they always say we're three deep. And if we're not three deep if we're not three deep, we go get more talent. And three deep basically means like you can, if any moment if somebody has to go tie their shoe and they have to come out of the game, then you like this is your time. So three deep is like the Texas way. And so we are just three deep at offensive line, and he was odd man out on a lot of things. So again, not a hit on him. I think that if this was Texas of 4 years ago or 3 years ago, maybe even, I think he would have had a shot. But one of our bright spots is just our offensive line. I mean, I tell people all the time, like I think our starters on offensive line played like 2 series and then they came out, but you couldn't even tell how many people were on the team because it was just a fluid game because there's so many people. So we just have a lot of people, a lot of bodies, a lot of people to throw out there. So I think it's a huge get. I think he'll be great in Colorado if he can just fine tune some things. And get better. So I think he'll be good. How the freshmen look. I was okay. So you'll like figure this out about me like the longer I like do this, but I numbers are my thing. So like if you ask me a player's name, it's going to be really hard for me to remember their name, but I can always remember a player's number. And so for me, when I was there, I was focused. I was like, okay, I'm looking for number 11 on defense, number 19 on defense, number 14 on defense, and number 5 on defense, or number 14 on offense and 5 on offense. So 5 and 14 are 2 freshmen wide receivers that everybody was looking forward to, Aaron Butler and Ryan Wingo. And then 11 and 19 are freshmen like defensive linemen. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're going to get from these guys. But it was nice to see them out there. Like 11 and 19 on defense. Like I'm impressed. I was impressed by the freshmen. So hopefully they show up and show out. I mean, I don't know if they will get a chance to play. I don't know their impact. As I said in my Texas video before, I think that I'm not expecting the freshmen to be a staple in our offense or defense this year. I don't think, but I wouldn't be shocked if 1 or 2 of them finds a way to starting lineup. So that is just how I see it. I could be wrong. My tag is not cooperating. But yeah, I don't think that Texas is going to like win, 10 games thanks to, Ryan Wingo, but they might. He looked good. He fit the part. But we're so stacked at receiver. So that's another thing where it's kind of like you kind of get in where you fit in. But overall, I thought it looked great. For it being a spring game, like nobody, whatever. We didn't have any injuries. We didn't get to see some of the people that we wanted to see because once we got there, we realized a lot of them weren't going to play because of the coach Sark was just like, they don't need to play. Like, what are we doing? Like some guys just don't need to play. And so they're not going to play because I was really interested to seeing Trey Moore. One of the defensive guys that we got from UTSA, but he wasn't there, or he was there, but he didn't play. So that was disappointing, but it's like, I wish they could have made the announcement before we got to the stadium who wasn't going to play, but they didn't. They waited till we got there, which is smart on their part. But so a lot of people I wanted to see as far as starters from last year didn't play. The other thing I went in was questioning our defensive line, and everyone's like, your defensive line is stacked. It's this, it's that. I'm like, the way that certain teams and certain programs like look at their defensive line is not the same. And yes, we have a lot of bodies at defensive line, but we need defensive tackles that can make plays. Like that was our thing. And so it was super funny to me that I made a video and I'm like, Quinn Ewers versus Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, blah, 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 this whole thing. And then I was like, and I'm super excited to see our defensive line, like, help, God bless them. I hope that they can figure it out. And then like second pass of the game is like a pick six from like a big boy touchdown, which I love big boy touchdowns. There's nothing better than a big boy touchdown. So anyways, it was fun. So it was a lot of fun. Aaron Butler looked fine. I mean, it's funny because Aaron Butler was playing with a third string quarterback. Um, and from what I heard, I think he usually plays with Arch Manning and not with him. And so it's always interesting whenever you throw in a new quarterback and watch the dynamics and see how things change. But Aaron Butler is going to be fine. I mean, he's surrounded by amazing people. He's surrounded by amazing talent. And he seems like a good kid. Like I think he's going to be fine. I just think, Texas is at a point where, okay, we didn't used to be, but in the past like 2 years, I would say, maybe even 3 years, we're just at a different spot where it's like it's known that you're going to come in and set and learn a little bit, but if given your opportunity, you better go in there and make the best of it. And based on our schedule, he should get a lot of playing time in the first like 4 or 5 games, I think. So yeah, I think he'll be good. Spring game was a ton of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was rainy and it was kind of cold and then it was hot and then it was all the things. So I kept my braids in so that when it started raining, I would like sit in the rain. And if any of you know Black women, you know that us and our hair, like we don't play about it. But I was like, screw it. And so I sat in the rain and I was so proud of myself. But this hair needs to come out. So the next time I go live, I will probably not look like this. It will be me in my natural hair, probably in a bun, because that's the best you're probably ever going to get of me with my real hair because it takes too much time to do it. And it's thick. Based off what you saw, what'd you get for record? So my record, I said at the beginning before I went to spring game that my record was, I believe it was 11-1 or 10-2. And my two losses, I had our two losses being Georgia and potentially Oklahoma. So I have us winning at least 10 games, give or take. I don't really know. I will say the one thing about the University of Texas is we always find a way to play down to our competition at least 2 games a year. So it's also one of those things where like if we lose to like a random, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm going to be like, of course we just lost to this team that we're not supposed to lose to. So you just never know with us. We're very inconsistent. Remember my trust issues? We're like this hit miss. I don't know what the hell we got going on half the time. Sometimes we just have a ton of talent. We're just doing all the wrong things. Or, we have the best running backs ever and we, pass the ball. So I don't know. But my prediction right now is staying at 11-1, 10-2. But we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Yeah, Manning did look good. My favorite part about watching Manning is like, obviously he's Arch Manning, blah, blah, and that's fine. But my favorite part actually about him being out there was actually watching the offensive line. Because as I said before, a lot of our starters didn't play offensive line through the duration of the game. I don't remember how long. I think our offensive linemen maybe played like the first quarter or something like that. And then it was like the second team and third team. And so they're running out different guys. And so I mean, we have a couple of All-Americans in offensive line. And so I was like, this is going to get interesting. But watching the offensive line, second group and third group, like I was thoroughly impressed by the offensive line. And so that was something else that I was like, I wonder if there's going to be like this huge drop off between our starters and our backups. And there's a little bit of drop off, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Hello. Hello, everyone joining. Hey, her moments. So yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Again, okay. I don't want to call it like a game because like no one wins. Like that's kind of weird. But it was a good experience. I was glad I went. I actually went to the game, and so they like. I don't know. None of you probably care about this, but I'm going to share. So one of the things I love about like when you go down and do UT game day, it's like a UT game day experience. There's so much stuff always going on. So there was like a whole carnival they had going on. There was like photo booths. There was like all of these things, and they basically just like shut down the campus and like everybody kind of does their thing. And there was even some people like that had like mini tailgates. So it was really cool. And so we did that. So we walked Bevo Boulevard and did all the things that people do. And it was cold and rainy. And then after that, we like walked back over and I went to a baseball game and it was super fun. So I love going to baseball games. And so I was out there in the baseball game and it was raining and it was like a disaster, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. You also have to understand that like I'm not a person that leaves the house a lot. And so when I do leave the house though, like I try to make it count. I try to like compound all the things I'm going to do when I leave the house. And so I was able to leave the house. I got in some great just like hanging out, whatever, walking around, seeing different things. Went into the game, met some awesome team parents, and like some other people or whatever that, were there. And that was fun. The game was fun. And then I went to the baseball game and we actually won. Well, it was in a rain delay when I left. But so anyways, that was my Saturday. So it was a lot of fun. Glad I went. It was super exciting. And yeah, I think Texas will be fine. But you just never know. These coaches do what they want to do. And that we're, whatever. Like we'll see. We'll see. I don't trust any of them. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, that is my Texas experience. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments about anything? I know that like probably about 5 or 6 people have joined since I started talking. I know a lot of people are asking me about the offensive lineman that Colorado is that Colorado got. I think he'll be fine. He just needs a little work, but he'll be good. Who did the baseball team play against? Oh, TCU. They played against TCU, who's like ranked. And so there's this like weird thing and that is happening right now with like UT where it's like they keep winning Big 12 championships. And so there's this thing that's like on the way out. We're taking all the championships with us, which is funny because the baseball team is like not very good, but they're actually in a position to potentially like win the Big 12, which is kind of funny because they actually want to fire their head coach. So the baseball team is an interesting dichotomy right now. We're just going to let them be. But if you know anything about baseball and if you know anything about the University of Texas, you know that baseball and the University of Texas like are like that is it. And so for Texas to not have a good baseball team right now, we call them the olds at UT are not very happy about that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But yeah, totally agree. You can't trust anything. Yeah, no, I don't. I don't trust him. I have said this many times. The only coach I trust right now, and the only coach I've trusted for probably about 3 to 4 years, and sometimes he pisses me off, is Mike Tomlin. And he's earned it. So how do you like going live with the PC? I like going live with the PC. I honestly just need a new computer. I don't love this computer. It's not giving me the things that I need. I edit all of my videos on my phone because my computer is slow, but I can edit videos so fast now. Well, not fast. That I lied. I cannot edit videos that fast, but I can edit them pretty fast on my phone. But everyone keeps telling me, like, if you get your computer, it'll be easier on your computer. And I'm like, my computer is so old that it just can't handle me editing. And I'm like, yeah, it's a mess. And then somebody else told me, they were like, why don't you record on your computer and then release the video and all this stuff. But here's the thing, like my workspace, I don't like doing everything in the same space. So like this is my office and I don't mind being in here and being live and whatever because like you can see half of it. So you can see like my inspiration wall and stuff like that, but it's a whole different dynamic going on if I like change the camera. It's like a whole like setting area over there. My other screen didn't like it, but I have 3 screens up. So this is like my office. This is my space. This is my whatever. But I don't always like being in here when I'm being creative and creating videos because that's a different thing. So I like to do that in another space in my home. So it's like, it's really a me thing. I'm a Gemini. So, I have a lot of weird things that I have going on. But that's just how I roll. Yeah, do that, Smiley. Like once I get a new computer and then I have to figure out what kind of computer I want. Do I want a PC? Do I want a Mac? Do I want this? Do I want that? So there's just so much to do. And honestly, it's like I'm very frugal in a lot of ways. And then a lot of ways I am absolutely not. So when it comes to technology and electronics, I'm like, does my phone ring? Is my screen cracked? Do I get really good service? Can it take really good pictures? If all of that is yes, I don't need a new phone. So it doesn't care what version I have. Like as long as it's working, I'm keeping it. But that's just how I am with like I don't like technology. I don't like new things. I don't know. there's a lot of weird things that I don't like. Like I actually don't like shopping at all. For anything really. So I'm like I'm pretty basic. I might not I always say I'm pretty basic and my friends are like there's nothing basic about you, but I like to think I'm pretty basic. Um that's why I get braids in my hair. I get braids in my hair because I don't want to do my own hair because my own hair is thick and it's annoying and it's like it's my real hair is so thick like um hell, who knows? I might go live and be taking down my braids. I don't know. But it's like it's so thick. So when I put in these braids in a weird way, it like thins my hair out, like because it's not so much to deal with. And it's easy. I can get up and go and do whatever I want, throw it up. Um, but it's just a lot. But then here's the other thing. I'm also weird in the sense that like once my hair is braided for like 3 weeks, I'm like, I want my hair to come back. I want my real hair. So I can't be happy. I'm a mess. I don't know. That's just how I am. Um, but yeah, Mac is good for graphics and programming. Sounds like you just need a difference. Yeah, and see, here's the other thing. So, okay, now I'm just I get on these lives and I just start rambling, and then nobody wants to come up and talk to me because now I'm just rambling. So I guess I'm just a shit show at this point. Um, so I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, and I have an Apple Watch. The only reason why I don't want to get a Mac is because I don't want my Mac synced to my phone, to my watch, to my iPad. Because then, like, I feel like all of my spaces, I can't distinguish my space. And so here's the thing like, okay, let me just give a little history. I have two brothers and two sisters. There's five of us. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of like space to myself because there was too many of us, and we grew up and we didn't have enough money to like have our own spaces. So I didn't have a lot of like individual space when I was growing up. So now I feel like as an adult, I've over course corrected, and now I need all these separate spaces, and then like I'm very strict on like my different spaces. So the other thing is too, I'm doing lives in my office now because when I used to do lives in my other spot, which is in the kitchen, um, I always wanted to eat because the food was so close. So I was like, let me move this away from the kitchen. So, anyways, now I'm just rambling. So that's why I'm like, I don't think I want to get a Mac because then it's like my whole life will be on the MacBook. And I don't want my whole life to be on the MacBook. I want to like, I don't know. So that's my dilemma. I get it. It's not really like a real problem or a real thing, but it is a real thing. And then I will say for school, a lot of my school stuff actually works better with on a Windows computer. And so the way that I'm able to like toggle between and the way like the system that we use just works better when I have a PC. So that's the other thing. So I say all that to say, I don't know what I'm going to do. So somebody, I don't know. You work Work hard, you deserve it. Good. Thank you. You know what else too? I realized when I was getting my PhD is the separation of space helped me so much because a lot of times I was literally like heads down researching, reading, highlighting, getting up, getting something to drink, coming back, reading, work. And so I was like always in the same space doing my work. And I realized that if I had certain spaces for certain things, my brain would also click that way. So it's almost like when I go in my garage to work out, it's like my brain knows that's workout space. When I come in my office to do work, it's like my brain knows like this is where I do work. When I go to my one of my two like creative spots where I make my videos, my brain knows like okay, you're in this space to make a video. And so it's like all of my setup spaces are set up in a way that like they know what time it is. So it's almost like, I was talking to a friend of mine that's getting into like training for MMA and stuff like that. And I don't think they're going to go pro, but they're just like training. And one of the things they were talking about with like their walk up song was they like songs that like get them in certain like moods to fight or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like my spaces. Like my spaces get me in certain moods to do certain things. So anyways, I'm blabbing way too much about this because I'm also the same with mirrors in my house and lighting in my house. But anyways, that we don't need to talk about that. Um, how much are you willing to I don't care how much it is. If I like it, I'm going to get it. I just don't want to go look for it. I'm like, give me some options. But the other thing is too, I do want to say there's nothing wrong with my computer. So that's the other aspect of this. It's like the only thing that's wrong with my computer is that it's older. And so it's not set up. So like sometimes my videos upload. There was one time, actually, there might be a video coming out. I don't know. Sometimes you'll see when you're looking at my videos, it looks like it has like a filter on it. And it's because when I put my so I stopped making videos like this, but I used to have videos in 4K, and then I take 4K and I'd upload it on my computer, and my computer didn't know what the hell to do with 4K. So it did its own variation. And I was like, now I look like a weirdo with splotches everywhere. And so I put a filter on it so that I looked normal. So that's my issue when I edit on my PC, just because it's older. It's like it's not up to date with the technology. The other thing is, you know what? I think I have that video set to come out sometimes this week, but it's like the NFL versus college football, or NFL over college football, whatever it is. It's titled something NFL. But I put a filter on that video because my face looks so splotchy because of the old technology in my computer. So so when you see that video and you're like, "Oh, she edited her face." Yes, I did. I didn't edit my face. I put a filter on it so that it looks weird. But then the filter, I'm like, now I look like a fake person. But anyways, because I hate filters. I'm not using any filters. Um, hey, Stephanie, how are you, girl? You finally caught alive. So anyway, so that's just me rambling about like my setup and what I'm doing and all these things. And nobody cares about any of this information. But here I am rambling. So anyways, what other questions do you have that I can answer for you? How else can I help you today? Um, and Smiley, I saw your comment, but I can't read and talk. So I'll respond to you um, when I get off, because I don't know what it would say if I actually read what you were saying and tried to give you a response. But I saw it. And I appreciate that. I also feel like, oh my gosh, how do we feel about the spring game? How are we feeling about the spring game this weekend, or the spring events, or whatever? How are we feeling? Are we feeling good? Are we feeling bad? Are we feeling encouraged? How do we feel about the pickups? How do we feel about the transfer portal? Like, what's going on? How are we feeling as a fan base? Are we exhausted? Are we excited? What do we think? What do we think? What is a UT tailgate experience? So I will be honest and say I have not tailgated for a while. It's been a while since I tailgated. Mainly because, like I said, I don't really like to leave the house. I have everything I need at home, literally everything. Um, So leaving if I'm going to leave the house for something, it's important. So like, food. Um, but so why I say that is because, so the last time I tailgated was probably 4 years ago or 3 years ago. And it's a lot of fun. So it is, like I said, so in Austin, there is a game day experience. And so because it's the game day experience, they basically shut down Bevo Boulevard and like a couple of other cross streets. And it's just like an all out hangout, come as you will. As you can imagine, there's people that pull up, there's large TVs, lots of food, all you can eat, do whatever. And just have a good time. Everyone's there for football. And the cool thing is when you go down there, you can watch all the other games that are happening. And it's just, I'm in the South. It's like, come as you will, come have fun, hook them, yay, woo. And then, you leave. And then I always tell people, and this is like my little secret, but I always tell people the tailgating before the games is fun. But sometimes, especially when your team wins, really the best tailgate is when you play an earlier game, and you can leave the game you can leave the game and then go back and tailgate after the game, and you've won, and then you get to watch like the other games and stuff like that at a tailgate. I think that's the best part about tailgating. But that is my personal opinion, and you get to let traffic pass and all those things. So I personally think it's a win. But even in like when I used to go to a ton of NFL games, I loved um tailgating, especially in Pittsburgh. So I need to go back to Pittsburgh. So it should be cool. New guys are all right. Yep, that's basically how I feel, Nicole. You and me are the same. Feeling neutral. Same. How are you, sir? Another left today. Yeah. See, spring game is a big question mark. I don't know what to think. Me either. Well, you know how I feel. Can't wait to see Aaron Butler. Yeah, I mean, so week 1 we play Colorado State, and if Texas takes care of business, you should see Aaron Butler. And then week 2 probably not. We play Michigan, and then I think like week 3, 4, and 5, I feel like we don't play like you should see him again. So I'm super excited for Aaron Butler. And it's so funny because like so many people like, and listen, I got it. Some of you don't like me. I know you're still watching this. Hi. But I get it. You're waiting for Texas to do something so that you can come to me and like troll me and say all these terrible things about Texas, which is fine. Like it's totally fine. But some of those same people are like watching Texas so intently, but they're missing the bigger picture and haven't thought to look at the schedule. So if you're a troll and you're listening to me because you actually can't stand me, but you're so curious to see what I'm doing, please go look at Texas's schedule so that you know the tough games and when they're coming, because it's not going to be week 3 and it's not going to be week 4. So just a tip. We've got to work on those trolling techniques so that you actually can see the games that you might be able to troll me on. So please take some time, do your research. One of the UCF players will see you base it. I'm going to leave it for you. Well, does that mean he's going to UCF? What's here in the D to watch the NFL draft? Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to go to a draft and see go to a draft and like see what that looks like. Hey Dewey, how are you? Spring game was something to look forward to last year. This year it's kind of like meh. Even with Wayne being there, it's not exciting because he's always there. I just want to win. Exactly. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, that's going to come as no shock to anybody listening to me right now. I'm all wins and losses. Please win. So I don't care who you bring out there. I don't care about all of that. That's great. Have fun. Do it. Do the talent show. Make a ton of money so we can pay more players. All the things. Fundraise. Do all those things. Do everything. I can't wait for that. Amazing. Do it. Please do it. And then win games. Like that's it. Like that's all I want. That's all I want. Michigan and Texas game should be, yeah, it should be interesting. And that's what I'm saying. It's like I've said this since I saw the schedule. It's like Texas is supposed to do what Texas is supposed to do. They're supposed to win. They're supposed to be able to go up there and beat Michigan, knowing all that Michigan has lost. Will they? I don't know. But Texas has a better team. They just have to figure it out. And I don't know if they're going to figure it out. Hey, David, how are you? Are you going to show some of the draft of it? Oh, he's talking to Smiley. I think they got Nicole, who got the Ohio State running back? I'm not sure if he's going to UCF, but I think she's oh, okay. Yeah, Michigan versus Texas is going to be a good game. It's funny. I think Texas is going to have a couple of good games this year. I mean, they have Michigan at Michigan, second game of the season, huge. Then they have they bring in Georgia to Austin. I mean, does it get any bigger than Texas, Georgia? and then they have to go play out Oklahoma, which I know that unless you're like very much in. Okay, so like my nose is peeling because is it weird that like you go outside and the sun doesn't come out, but somehow you get sunburned? How is that a thing? That is so weird to me. Like the sun didn't even come out, but my nose is burned. It's like, what's going on? There's going to be an announcement in 15 minutes. Oh, okay, cool. The 50-year-old men cussing out teenagers. Yeah, that whole Cormani thing, like, just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Oh, I think it might be him. Okay. I also agree that Texas should be Georgia. I also agree with that. I also know who we are. And so I don't know. Right? Like I think we should beat them. We should beat them. And but I don't know if we are going to beat them. And I don't know if we're ready to beat them. So I just don't know. So if Texas beats Georgia, I will not be shocked. Like nothing in me will be shocked if they beat Georgia. Like I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, oh my God, Texas beat Georgia. No, like we've seen this progression, right? Like we've seen this ball rolling. So the next step is to go into the big house, beat Michigan, to come back a few weeks later and beat Georgia at home. That's what you're supposed to do. My concern is, if I'm being 100% honest with you, because I have trust issues and because I know this team and this program and how we do things we'll go in there, we'll beat Michigan, we'll go in there and we'll beat Georgia, and we'll freaking lose to Oklahoma, or we'll lose to some stupid school. And I will be like, why are we like this? Why are we like this? So I hope that I'm wrong and that's not what happens. But like I agree. I agree. Like Texas is supposed to do Texas is benefiting from the NIL. Texas is benefiting from collectives. They have a good shot at all the outside schools like Ole Miss, but I do think Georgia has a slight upper hand over everyone. I do too. And so that's the thing. It's like if they beat Michigan and Georgia, I will not be shocked. You will not hear me. I will not come on here and go, oh my gosh, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked. Oh my God. You know what I will be shocked at is if we don't lose to some stupid team. I will actually be more impressed if Texas doesn't lose to Florida or Vanderbilt or freaking Texas A&M or like some of these Kentucky. If they don't lose to those schools, I will actually be more impressed than I will be if they don't lose to Michigan and Georgia. Like that might sound convoluted, but that's how I feel. Texas is better than OU this year. Yes. We have more depth. Our overall team is just better. But the problem is that they're still a rival, and historically, the better team doesn't always win in the Texas OU showdown. And that's what makes it sucky. Is there's been times where we've been better than Oklahoma and they've beaten us, and there's been times where Oklahoma's been better than us and we go and beat them. So it's like that weird rival that I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. And then, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. Because last year, Sark's coaching was not great. So let's hope that he learns from that. Texas is the most talked about team this year. Yeah, they are a threat to Georgia. I think they are a threat to Georgia. Listen, I went out there and I saw it with my own eyes. They look great. They look great. They look the part, right? They fit the part. They're doing everything they're supposed to do. They have the athletes in. Their coaching staff is amazing. They have all the tools. They just have to put it together. They just have to put it together. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they look amazing. On paper, on paper, somebody might disagree with me in the chat. Somebody might. And if you disagree with me, let me know. But on paper, I think Texas probably has one of the best teams, if not the best team in the country. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Texas fan. I think player for player, depth for depth, like I think Texas might have one of the best rosters in college football. There's not many people who can compete with them. They now just have to show up, and it's game time. You have to show up. You have to show up. You have to show up and win games. You don't win games on paper. That's not how this works. If you win games on paper, the Browns would have been in the Super Bowl. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'll just move that. I'll just keep going. Yes, Peter, I agree. Michigan did lose a lot. I mean, they won a national championship. And to give us to us, yeah, exactly. They won a national championship. So, and I think Texas has the most returning starters to their football team. I think Texas has like 14 returning starters. Out of 22 people, 14 returning starters in college football. That's amazing. Just think, this is why I always say, like, we're loaded. It's just we have to do the right thing. So we have 11 guys that that are in the draft this year. We have 14 returning starters. That alone is 25 people. So it's like, and that's what we're losing. And we just are reloading. So it's like, we're right where we're supposed to be. I mean, trust me, Sark's coach. Listen. It definitely could have been worse. But you know what? But I'm going to give all these coaches the same energy, because if I give everybody the same energy, at least I'm consistent. I always tell people, you might not like my takes, you might not like my opinions, but I'm going to be consistent. So if I don't like it, I don't like it. That's just how I don't care who you are. If I don't like it, I just don't like it. I'm just not going to like it. I don't have to. Texas will make the playoffs. They should. The best or one of the best. I think they might have the best. I think Ohio State, but see, Ohio State's quarterback situation is kind of a disaster. I don't know. I think I would like to know which team the chat thinks can compete with Texas just on paper. On paper. We're not talking like just on paper. Who do you all think could compete with Texas as far as talent? How's the secondary looking? Well, that's the terrible thing is we didn't get to see I think two of our starters or three of our starters didn't play in the secondary. So I don't know. Terrible. Freaking terrible. If Charlie was promoted to second string from third string. Yeah, I wish Alton didn't leave. Like, I wish him the best. And I just wish he wouldn't leave. I wish he wouldn't have left, because I think I wish he would have stayed. LSU's a good one. LSU's a good one. The only thing I don't know about LSU, and I don't know if Jonas is here, is I don't know how good their on paper, their quarterback on paper and their linebackers on paper. So that's one thing I'm not sure about. Miami's an interesting one. I agree with Ohio State. I think Ohio State is a good comparable. Yeah. Oh, Oregon's a good one. Oregon's a good one. Yeah, I think I like who's Oregon's quarterback right now? Oregon's actually a really good comparison, actually. The only thing about Oregon, I don't really pay attention to them a lot, so I don't really know. I think Ole Miss is going to be sleepy good. I think Ole Miss is one of those teams where it's like we know that they have the potential, and at the end of the year, we're either going to be looking at them and being like, "Oh yeah, we knew it," or we're going to be looking at them and being like, "What the hell happened to y'all?" Um, so yeah. Um, yeah, see, and that's the thing. It's like that's why I always say I'm like paper to paper. Listen, I will never say that Dylan Gabriel is better than any quarterback at the University of Texas ever. But hey, I'm an unbiased spectator. So Oregon, I got the Oregon comparison. Oregon's a good one. But that's the thing. It's like so it looks like I'm seeing the same team. So it looks like we saw a little bit of Mizzou, a little bit of Oregon, a little bit of Ohio State, Georgia. So it's like if that's the case, I think we only play one of those teams. So that's why I'm like we should be good. But, um Dave, 95%. That's awesome. Missouri's talent. You can't count Bowman out. We didn't lose them much. Yeah, no. Yeah, well, that's fine. But that's the thing. It's just like on paper, it's just like, ugh. David, I agree. I always, you know what? So mine's 80%. I always tell people if you agree with me 80% of the time, that's pretty good. Because I am very like I have very strong opinions and I often look at things in a way different perspective and I'm always looking at like a multitude of different things and like putting them together to make a thing. And so my views, if you agree with me 80% of the time, we're doing pretty good. And if you think that if you agree with like 95% of what I say, I mean, we're probably best friends and we don't even know that we're best friends because it's like some of my opinions are, not always popular, but that's okay. Like if I have an opinion that sparks something in you or that like makes you feel away or whatever, like I like that. I'm okay with that. I'm not for everybody. That's fine. I don't need to be for everybody. Um, they have Dante Moore as a backup. Oh, Oregon does. That's so funny. Yeah, so does no one want to come up and talk to me? See, this is what happens. I start to ramble and then nobody wants to come up and talk to me. And I'm just gone off rambling about Lord knows what. Um, so if anyone wants to come talk to me, you can come talk to me. Or if you want to keep asking me questions, keep asking me questions. I will answer those questions. I am all for it. Let me respond to this. Thanks for popping in, David. Don't you think on paper that Colorado is better than Texas because they got so um you know, yeah. We're just gonna you know what? I was gonna say something very petty, but I'm not. I'm gonna be an adult. It's close. It's close. It's close. Colorado is almost there. It's so close. Hey Alpha, can you hear me? Question. I'm a linebacker fan. So what do you think of UT's linebackers? I think UT's linebackers are the most underrated group that we have. Um, I think so. I think he was 0 last year. I don't know what his number is going to be this year, but Hill Jr. coming back is going to be huge for Texas, and he's really going to be able to anchor those linebackers. But I think our linebackers are sneaky good. 33. Again, I told you, like, once I start talking about my teams, like, I don't remember anybody's names. I just remember numbers. Um, but we've got some really, really good linebackers, and I just don't think anybody ever talks about our linebackers because we have really good defensive linemen. and tackles. And then everybody thinks our secondary is so terrible. So usually, you know how it goes. Like when you're kind of like just stability and you don't do anything necessarily amazing, but you're not the reason why we're not good, nobody really talks about you because they're either going to talk about the extreme of the defensive line or they're going to talk about the extreme of our secondary. But our linebackers are sneaky good. That's why I said if anybody leaves from Texas that is a linebacker, Colorado needs to call them ASAP. ASAP.
Can you hear me pretty good? My headset was acting. Can you hear
Yeah, I
me?
can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So you enjoyed yourself. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself at the game.
I did. It was a lot of fun. Oh, Colorado Pop-Tarts Bowl Championship 2024. Lord. Hey, I will say Kansas State won the Pop-Tart Bowl this year. So if we're in that position, let's go. I did. I had a lot of fun. In my adult age, realized how old I was when I was out there, but I had a lot of fun. The
Okay.
bleachers, that whole thing you got going on. But
was you still keeping track of stuff on for your other team while you was out there, or you just kind of just came, just woke up on Monday and kind of saw everything?
no, so I woke up Saturday. What is today? Today's Monday. So I woke up Saturday and I saw all the things that happened Friday night. What happened? Okay, Friday I was in the panel with you guys. Yes. So Friday happened. Don't remember what happened Friday night. That was too long ago. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So I didn't do much Friday night. But then when I woke up Saturday, the weather was so bad here. And so when I got to campus, I actually sat in my car for a little bit and I got kind of caught up on what was happening with CU stuff. And then I went to the game and did that. And then I was at the baseball game and there was a little rain delay. And so I kind of caught up. But I mean, nothing's happening that I wasn't shocked about. And then like yesterday, I saw the recruits roll in. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we need to be, as fans, we need to show a little bit of discipline here, because it's like, we've seen this show. We bought tickets to this show. We've seen it. So now it's like, great, expect to get players out of the transfer portal. Then once you get them, take a deep breath and then let's assess in our calm thinking. Let's not assess as everything we do is going to be amazing. We've done that before.
Right. What I'm really hoping is, it looks like it's going to be difficult to fill your roster with the number of people that left. I'm not talking about quality. I'm not talking about who's better, I'm just saying with the number, because there's a lot of kids that left and Colorado wasn't over in scholarship. I'm hoping that at the end of this, like let's say the portal closes and you still have 8-9 scholarships available, man, give them to the walk-ons, give them to the guys, especially the running back. Give them a scholarship for a year.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting because I feel like, oh God, it's one of those things where it's like, for some reason, as a fan base, we've now convinced ourselves that it's okay if people leave and they didn't play, that just opens a spot for somebody else. But what if you can't fill the spot? Now there's a hole. And what a hole means on a football team is, now if somebody can't go again, I feel like we're not comprehending a hole on a football team is not good. It's a missed opportunity.
No, you're right. Right. And that's what I'm saying. So it's very, very rare that a football team has scholarship.
That's true.
Most teams, even small schools.
Looks like we just got a commit. They just got their running back from Ohio State.
That's cool. Hey,
yeah.
There you go.
Is he 5'10"? Do we know? Can anybody give me his measurables in the chat?
But who leaves? Did Savion leave? Yeah, I think he's like 5'9", 5'10".
What'd you say? Who does what? Yeah, you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Hey, DC Carson, how are you? Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
What's up, really, Flaw?
Does Savion Wilkerson?
Yeah, I can hear you. Well, no. Well, he shouldn't. He shouldn't.
Why?
I mean, here's the thing. So wait, okay. So we have Welch, Edwards, this guy, Offerdahl, Wilkerson. So that's 5. Is there anybody else I'm not thinking about? I mean, here's the thing. I think he might get stuck in the portal if he goes.
Nah, he can drop down. He can drop down.
Oh, well, if he's willing to drop down.
He can drop down.
Yeah, if he's willing to drop down, then yeah. But a lot of these guys. Oh, he's hurt, they said.
But he has to play. He has to play somewhere, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'd rather you. I don't know what his goal. If he's just trying to graduate, you're right. Just stay at Colorado, man. If you ain't trying to go to league, just graduate, get your degree from Colorado, and enjoy your life. That's cool. I totally get it. Yeah.
To be honest, if you're not trying to go to the league, you should be at Colorado, just balling. You know, like go enjoy your life, go live it up for whatever years you're there. Go have fun, and then at the end of your career, you can be like, I'm playing Coach Prime, and we have fun,
right?
Huh?
And have fun and say, I did that. That's an experience. I agree with you. If you're not trying to go to the league, go to Colorado.
Absolutely. And even obviously top talent, if you're trying to go to the NFL, like obviously, you know, whatever. But it's like, if you're one of the, you know, I call them tweeners. If you're like a tweener where it's just like, you don't really know, but really you don't even have the passion for it anyway, why put yourself through, like, just go somewhere where you can have fun and get to play some football and hang out with your friends. Like, why not?
But isn't Colorado supposed to be the pipeline to the NFL?
No, it's not.
CDC, you're being petty. See, you're up here being petty. You're up here being petty.
I'm not. I'm honestly. I'm not. I'm trying not to be, but I understand if I bring up something like that, that's going to sound like it's petty. But it's like, all right. So, because think about it, I'm student organizational development, and I'm all about, you know, what you feel your key attributes of what you want your organization to look like. So when you start saying these things like, well, we're gold jackets, pipeline to the NFL, we're the new, going to be the new Bama, dominating, this gives people visibility, NIL money, all those things up. Then we turn around and say, I agree with you, go have fun, but then it doesn't become what it's being sold at. And then I sound like I'm trolling, but I'm not.
No. I know what you're saying is right. It's what I always say about both sides of, you can't argue both sides of the coin. Like you can't say one thing and then you're not the thing. You know what's always interesting to me, and this is just like a personal thing that annoys me, when people are like, we're going to be the new Bama. No, you're not. Just say you're going to be like, you'll never hear me say Texas is going to be the new Bama. Like, that's not how this works. Texas is just going to be Texas and be great. We're not going to be the next Bama. Like, it's not. I mean, if we become that, okay. But it's like, I feel like people's goals are all over the place. It's like, can we just wait? Can we just win? I just want to win games.
Well, the goal is nice, but the timeline is horrible. I mean, you're talking about something that you're talking about teams that, like, Texas has a brand. Georgia has had a brand. All these teams have had a brand, so you're looking at Colorado is trying to build a team on top of a brand and then on top of an organization. Because, I mean, be honest with you, right now, the Prime brand is bigger than the Colorado brand.
That's true.
That's not, I don't think that's necessarily from the Colorado side a sustainable thing. But I think you got to have more time, because at the end of the day is, you know, if you're saying everybody that comes is a dog and everybody that leaves is a dud, sooner or later, the math ain't math.
Math ain't mathin'. No, I have because I said, I think it was like last week when I was like, are we building a team or are we building a program? And you know me, whenever I say something and then people start talking about it and I'm like, all right, let me make a video. So I have a video, and in the video, I literally say the exact same thing. It's like, what are we doing? And listen, maybe the answer is we're trying to do everything at once and we're going to throw it out there and it's going to be like spaghetti, and whatever sticks, that's who we're going to be. Okay. Like, okay, can we win games? Go ahead.
But I'm about to say, you know what bothers me the most is So every time a kid leaves, they say they wasn't ready to compete, or like
Ugh,
when Prime
yeah.
says ride, or you gonna ride or jump, meaning either you gonna play with us or you just need to go ahead and leave in the portal, right? But that same thing occurs when there's an agreement on the player side that you either gonna ride with me or you gonna jump, meaning you gonna recruit on top of me. So there's
Right.
both ways. So if you feel like a kid quit on the program, then Colorado quit on the kids. So you can't be mad at them for seeing all of that happening and just saying I'm gonna go ahead and leave. If Savion Wilkinson decides to leave after this, I'm not mad at him
But
because it's almost like a first quarterback. It's almost like a starting quarterback. If you draft the first round quarterback and you're the starting quarterback for that team, it's already written. You know what's about to happen. You know what's about to happen.
it's like Aaron Rodgers with Jordan Love.
You
That's
know,
why he was
Brett
pissed.
Favre. Brett Favre.
Yeah,
Brett
that's why they
Favre,
were
they
pissed.
got Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? It's a good point, but it's also why I feel like it takes a little bit of adult maturity to realize the situation these kids are in. That's why kids, young adults, whatever. That's why I made my video about Cormani McClain. It's not about Cormani per se. It's about this power structure and the way that things work. These coaches' jobs are to go find somebody better than you. That's actually their job because they need to keep getting better, and that's what they're supposed to do. At the same time, as a young adult, you don't see that yet. A lot of people don't realize the game that's being played around them. They don't get it. Before they realize, somebody wrote in the comment section, because that video has gone crazy now, but somebody wrote in the comment section, the older you get, the more expensive your mistakes get. And it's kind of like that similar scenario where it's like, like everyone's playing something here. I don't think we teach our young people what that game is. I don't think we teach that game. I don't think we tell people, listen, to be honest with you, trust them in air quotes, right? Trust them, do the supportive thing, but know that their job, they're actually getting paid millions of dollars to go find somebody better than you.
But that would be great if that was across the board. I promise you, when Caleb Downs entered the portal, nobody on CU was thinking Colorado was going to go after that safety. Even though he's younger, he's better, because everybody knew there were a couple of positions that were off the table. Even though there were better people and better players in the portal to take those positions, you just knew the politics of it all. I would totally agree with you. If their job is to go get the better player, that means every single position is up for grabs. Quarterback, safety, corner, all of that stuff is up. But that's the problem. That's the problem. Because you can't tell me that there hasn't been any really good safeties in the portal, but that's the one position that they just aren't getting. They're not getting that position. And
so let me ask you a question then. Would you say that it depends on I hear what you're saying. You're 100% right.
Okay, I'm about to say, where are you going with this?
What I was going to say though is I think the state of your program kind of matters. I think who your coach is matters too. Let's just call it a spade a spade.
Right,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm just reflecting like the obvious. If I was on that team and I see little, and we see big things. They see little things that we don't see. That's the part that, and they all keep saying the same thing. And when we say favoritism, a lot of people in here kind of think of it as the normal favoritism that a coach would have for a star player. Yeah, but there's another layer on top when that star player is your son, or when that person isn't really a star player, but they're your son and they're a good player. It's a lot of layers, a lot of little things, like how they talk to other people on the team, how they, it's just a lot of stuff that we don't see, that I can see how some of the kids would be like, you know what, dude, I'm good. It's 300 schools I can go to. I'm gonna be fine.
Because see, Apple Rue, I would tell you, if Prime was not the coach of Colorado, I don't think Shedeur would be there. I think he'd be at Auburn, he'd be at Florida, he'd be someplace else other than Colorado.
Yeah, he was going to Florida Atlantic. That's where he was going. Right. He probably been Florida Atlantic.
Right. And so, and that's kind of why I see it's like now, really flawed. My background, I'm retired military, and it's like we talk about like the portal, but in the military we do have net gains. We have people we recruit and our losses. And as a commander, you will get nailed if you have way too many people leave. You have to do it because eventually, if you don't get quality people in that you can retain, then that makes you that decreases your readiness. And the same thing goes over into football. Like, for example, they won't let us deploy if we don't have a certain level of leadership and a certain level of people. If we lose 80%, you have to have that manpower where it's like a stop loss where nobody can leave until you come back because you've done all this training. Well, the thing is right now you got people moving around, and even if you get dogs in, if they get there in like the summer or the end of the summer, how long do you have to integrate them into the entire thing so everybody is operating as a cohesive unit? And those would be the things. No, I'm not I don't know. No, Alpha Ru probably has forgot more about football than I know. But at the end of the day, I also look back at it that way. It's just there's a people element involved to that. So you can't always use, and then you have to sit back and ask yourself, if I'm losing certain type of players that may have been functional, because you ain't going through this Big 12 without depth, then you gotta ask those questions. But what I see, not all CU fans, but a certain part, they don't want to ask the question of, okay, it's too easy to put it on the kid, which I think that's bad because as well as I know, sometimes when people are leaving, and I'm not saying this about Prime, my God, I hate I have to say that.
You don't have to qualify it, brother. Just say what you got to say.
You know how it is. But sometimes when you see a lot of people leave, often with us, you got some toxic leadership. I'm just saying.
You're not wrong.
This is the thing, though. A lot of schools are, so I don't want them to seem like a lot of schools are losing players. I get it. So it's not like Colorado has way more players than the Houstons, that Louisville's, and all of that stuff. It's just that Colorado's going through this every portal cycle. So I don't mind, in any situation, you have anomalies. The problem is Colorado's having these anomalies all the time. Louisville was not in this situation last portal. Houston wasn't. And there's a reason why they're in it now, due to NILs, due to coaches leaving, due to coaches telling people they got to go. I get it. But for this situation with Colorado, it's just constantly, you never get a chance to just, and this is the part that really is sad. I think Coach Prime could build, if he really wanted to, he could build the #1 program in the country. I really think he can. If he wanted to say, I'm going to go recruit, I'm going to show up at the houses for the top players, I'm going to take my time, I'm going to make sure I develop players. And like, if he did it the way that is proven, it's low-hanging fruit for him to dominate this. But some of the decisions don't seem like the decisions that he's making and how he's doing it feels like he has personal goals above the program goals. It just feels like that.
It's always interesting because I feel like, and this is like, I always obviously I make videos, but when I'm making my videos, I always say, what is the lens and how I'm looking at this? And I think that helps me figure out my opinion because it's like, obviously I'm a Texas fan. I watched us build. I know what that looks like, and it's hard and it's grueling and it takes time. But there was no time limit for us because it was like, we weren't very good. So it's like, make us better, and it's like, just do it. And you have time to do it. I think what makes this all different is when you have Shedeur as your quarterback and your time is limited. It's like, you can't look at it the same way because you have limited time. I think my problem with this is you're absolutely right in your assessment. I wish that we would hear that though, because that's not what we hear. And I think that's where this kind of gets weird because we know it, we see it, but we're not hearing it. So we're almost but when we say it, it's like we're going against. It's not that we're going against. Everybody knows this to be true. It's just because Coach Prime has never said it, it doesn't sound good coming from people that aren't him. You know what I mean? It's like this weird thing.
But watch this. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But for example, this Texas went through the same thing that Bama went through, where y'all had decent teams, but you just couldn't turn the corner, and you had impatient boosters.
Yep.
And so, Mal Moore, when he went out to Saban, he was like, y'all told the boosters, you got to get out of this. Because I sat there through the Mike era, the Mike Price, the Mike Shula, and it just wasn't a good era. Not saying that we were still going to bowl games, just like y'all were still doing well, but you just couldn't turn it. And then when Sark came in, something happened in Texas where it's like, shut up and let Stark build this program. And that's what happened. That's the same thing that happened in Georgia. Remember, Georgia had Mark Richt. He would win 10 games. I mean, the Texas A&M, they would win 8, 9 games. Still got rid of people because there was such a demand. And then those fans and those boosters, you had to have that AD that came in and said, shut up. We're going to build this program. And then look where it is. Now, I don't think that folks are giving Colorado that time to say, you were at the bottom. It's an unrealistic expectation to believe that in year 2 you're going to be 10-2. If you are 10-2, then that you probably have a glass house, and that's what people don't understand, because things that come quickly they break quickly. They have to be built, and that's what I'm saying. This is just a certain section of that fan is kind of like because there's like this fight against the haters when you got to start pushing back against the worshipers to say, hey, this dude probably needs 5 years to even get anywhere where he's had the stability. Now, let me ask you this really, Flaw. Would it have been better for him to come in and build with some freshmen and maybe like a half and half versus the 40-40-20, because that gave him at least some kind of base? Or do you think the portal was this going to be his best path to success?
Okay. Yes, I think he should have went after more freshmen. I honestly think, though, I think he got hired almost too late in where everything was at. And I think it just made it harder. I feel like also he came out and said at some point that what did he say? He was like, he got here late. Now this year we have our recruiting team in place, or so. Like there was something he said almost alluding to, like we got here late. But again, because he doesn't ever come out and like speak clearly and tell you exactly, he kind of like placates and does this weird, media maneuvering where he talks like a politician, and the answer is yes, but he's not saying yes. He's kind of like going around it, but the answer. But that's what he was saying is like, well, this year we have our team in place. We have our recruiting team ready. We've actually been able to scout talent. So basically what he was saying in that moment was that he felt behind. He didn't say that, but that's how he felt. But then there's also times where you're like, if you felt that way last year, are you doing the things now to not feel that same way? I don't know if the answer to that question is yes, he's doing things different. So that's where I get confused. It looks samesies to me.
Yeah, that is like, you obviously you love to talk football and sports and all things, everything, and that's a good thing. And I'm that same way where I like to have conversations. What makes it difficult in here, and I just because you've got so many things. You got some people who are new to football. You got some people. I'm gonna keep it real. Something I've been noticing lately. There's quite a few people in here that it's not just football, that they want it to be a Selma to Montgomery moment. And that winds up making it where you, of course, with all our history and stuff like that, now that becomes a thing where anything that sounds like is you're talking about something else, because it's triggering because of what we've all gone through in this nation. Yep. But to a point, rather than being to that football is supposed to be an escape, and not saying that we don't have that sports doesn't have a responsibility, because we do. But when you put that type of pressure on something for it to be all the way here where, hey, this is going to be something that uplifts us, then it just becomes something where, I'm still I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to process how I feel about that, because I want to see it and I get the emotions and things like that. But then there is to a point of when you can put so much You know, you got to be careful with sports in these days to making everything like a Selma Montgomery or a Jackie Robinson moment, and that maybe doesn't allow him to have that time to get the greatness. Because regardless of what people say, Prime is still learning as a coach. A gold jacket, that's fine, but you know as well as I know, having taught on the college campus, because you have taught college, right?
Yeah.
That there's different modes. Everybody doesn't learn, and I taught ROTC at UAB for 2 years. Everybody doesn't learn the same. So even what motivates one student may not motivate another. And that's the same thing as something that's a combat, something that's contact like sports. But anyway,
We have
he
Peter
still
on
hasn't
the
learned.
stage. They've talked him up in the chat to come and talk to us.
Hola,
So
Peter. What's going on?
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? I got a
good.
question.
How are you?
Good. What happened to Tyler Johnson? What is he running with the second team? What's going on there?
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I do. I think they said he was hurt. I think he hurt his pinky or something. I don't know. I think he hurt something on one of his fingers. I thought.
Oh yeah, he's too good to be on the second team. I must be
Yeah. So I heard.
temporary.
This is what I heard. I heard, and somebody else's channel was talking about this, that he's probably going to be one of the starters, but right now he's working his way back.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You put him on the second team to work his way in there. Yeah. He's too good to be on second team.
Yeah.
Unless
What do you?
I don't know.
Have you ever been on a panel, Peter?
A few times.
What are you watching in the background?
Oh, that's just I don't even know. I'm not even thinking. The
Oh, okay.
news.
The chat wants you to say one thing positive about Colorado.
Colorado. Let's see. They got a lot of good wide receivers.
Okay.
Let's see how they're. They got Travis Hunter's. He's above average. They got a good team. They got some good skill positions, but they're weak at linebacker. I
Okay.
think the offensive line is a little bit struggling. So we'll see how it goes. But I think coaching is a big question mark. You got to say the DC. He looks a little shaky.
Okay.
Let
me, Peter, you are way better on the panel than you are in the chat.
No.
You are way better on talking to me right now than you are in the chat. I like this.
Yeah,
I like you, Peter. You should come up more often.
Yeah, it gets misconstrued sometime. I think, I like Colorado. They give an in-depth analysis. They let you see the practice. I just think, Deion has a lot of supporters, and they sometimes support him a little too heavy. They give him a lot of leeway, and sometimes they got to call him out because your fan base is gonna be, gonna tell you when you're doing things wrong.
Yeah.
And it seems like they just blindly support Deion. I think that runs him into problems because sometimes he just does things that are just, you know, just a little off. Just not right. Like I think he should have recruited high school more. I think when you bring in guys like Dawson, you bring in Chick Dawson. He got like the guy Hopkins left. That's your development. And for him to say that those guys, like, we didn't lose anything. I mean, wasn't Alton like his first string running back? Like,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I mean, to say you didn't lose anything is wild, man. I mean, you lost a lot. You're losing your first string running back. And a lot of these guys, it's college football. You're not going to have a whole bunch of production behind you. It's always about next man up. So, you're developing guys. And if you're not developing those guys, it's a problem. And I think that he's lost a lot of developmental pieces, and I think it's going to come back to bite him. I don't know if he's there for the long haul, though.
What is your record prediction this season, Peter? The chat wants to know.
5-7. I think it depends if they have, he says they didn't get blown out, but I think the USC game was a blowout. I think they came back in garbage time. I think we know Oregon was a blowout. Washington State was horrible. And Utah was funny. It was at the end of the season. Both had the backups in. So I really don't count that as like a real Utah game. Like they both weren't at full strength. But, a lot of teams don't get blown out a lot. I mean, you got a quarterback like Shedeur. You got some good pieces. You're not supposed to get blown out. But if they can't win those tough games, they could have a better team this year and have a worse record.
You know what? I agree with those thoughts, Peter. So you think Shador's a
Yeah.
good quarterback?
Yeah, I think he's a good quarter. I don't think he's the number one draft pick type
Okay.
good. I think there's levels to this, and I think he's at a really high level. I just I think some of the stats were a bit I don't want to say padded, but a little bit, as far
Yeah.
as him, he's a good quarterback. He's above average. He's well above average. I think he's in that second elite category. He's right
Okay.
under, like this year he was definitely a level below or two levels below like
The
Jaden
best.
Daniels.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Okay.
Caleb Williams, even Drake May.
Is
I think
CU the first team that you've liked, or who's your other team?
no, I follow Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Back in the day, I followed Colorado back in the '90s when they had Eric Bieniemy.
Oh,
They had
okay.
Michael Westbrook, and I used to follow Colorado. I don't remember Matt McChesney. I don't remember that dude at all. Who is that guy? Who is that guy, man? He gave that interview to Dion, man. He changed. He was saying some good stuff, like about the line, about this and that. And all of a sudden, he had an interview to Dion, and man, that went to his head. It's like he just started he just like turned like a leaf. Like he just became like a psycho fan. It was crazy. His
Oh, is he
transition.
fanned out now?
Yeah, big time. Matt
Oh.
McChesney's disappointment, man. I get it. He has a 60 career and all that, and he's trying to get his school up. But man, to see him go from like questioning the fight song, and he came in when the line was struggling, and Dion wasn't really building the line, so he came in at a good time, and people were listening to Matt McChesney. And for him to go there and say like, just to turn into like Prime is doing everything right and everything, it was just sad to see. Like one interview and he sold out. Like, come on, man, that was weak,
Peter,
man.
my man, Peter. I know that's right.
I thought he was a tough guy, man. But yeah, Matt McChesney was disappointing. Dion has a lot of these. He has a lot of the media in supporting him. Like there was one guy in the press conference when they said Dion, what are we losing? And the guy said right away, I don't know who that guy is, like the old white dude. And he said, well, you're losing potential starters and what do you say, depth pieces,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
potential starters. So that was good that the reporters never give pushback. It's like they're intimidated with Deion Sanders, they're starstruck, and they know he's going to call them out, and they're scared of him. And he likes to kind of give it to those reporters. So
Got it. Are
it
you
was
from
nice to
Boston,
see.
Peter?
I'm from New York City.
Oh, okay. Okay. I
Yeah,
like
I'm
it.
from New York. Yeah, I'm in New York. We're
Hey,
in.
Law.
I'm in.
How are you, sir? Are you Law Dog today?
Yeah, I'm loud dog. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yup.
Nah.
This,
Yeah.
this is
What's up?
Peter. Have you know Peter that's in the chat all the
Yeah.
time?
Yeah. I like Pete. Pete do good work in the chat. I like the work he be doing in there. And then DC Carson. I really came to holler at you about. I be watching you on the show you be on. I like the work you do too. You be keeping them folks in the middle of the road because you know how fanned out. You know how fanned out these people can be. And so I really was just like, I'm really looking for somebody to help me understand, like, what is it that the fans be getting so excited about, right? Like, I see y'all rattle off four commits, right? Okay, I like it. But it's just like, it's the same thing y'all do over and over again. And then we get super excited about these players, and they come in, and then what we get from it? Nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
can I say real quick about Deion Hayes real quick? That they said he had 13 sacks. He had 4 full seasons of college production. He played every year, but he played at a weaker school. That averages about 3 sacks a year. I mean, that's not a difference maker. Go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. I just think to me, I was having a conversation today. I really think he's Jordan Dominic.
Bingo. That's who I thought of. That was who I thought of when I saw him join. I looked at the stats. That's who he is. He's Jordan.
Yeah, and I like, because it's like I don't got to the point to where I'm not even challenging CU fans based upon what they say no more. I just want to make help me understand why they believe what they be saying. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's no point of trying to make it about football. This shit bigger than football. Prime he bigger than just being the head coach. He like a father, a pastor, a god almost. Like he next level to this shit, man. It's like, and then the way they handle the kids about transferring to school is crazy. I'm like, damn, I can't transfer if I don't like it. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta like the program. Like, I can't make mistakes and move on. Like, I don't get it. It's weird to me.
Law Dog, I'm gonna tell you, man. I read this DC. I respect your work. I watch you on Raw. I love it because you don't play the radio. I mean, it is direct to the point. And I think that's and really Flaw has great for she's supportive, but she doesn't. And Peter, Peter is Peter, and I love it. I always gonna love it. But like that I think that's what happens. That some of us are like real logical, and we go, okay, hold on 1 second. You can't just tell me this person's a dog. You're gonna have to break that down to me. And if you can't break it down, I'm like, I'm not buying it. So then if I don't buy it, well, you're a hater. No, it was that you came with your position. And fine, I don't have a problem with Hope. I have no problem with Hope for Harps. But don't ask me to have closed eyes with it. I don't do that. That's not. I mean, again, 20-something years in the military. When you do that, people die. So it's not something I'm gonna do. But I think the thing with them now is that okay, the people that left were apparently garbage. And I'm gonna say this publicly, and I probably will say it on another show. I, as a father, I understand Cormani, and I've had young soldiers that do stuff like Cormani does. And the thing I always used to tell them, I used to pull them in the office and say, hey man, this is how this works. Say it and forget it, write it and regret it. And when you do stuff on the internet, everybody's going to chew you a new one. So I need you to shut, because if you keep going out there talking, you're going to force me to do something. You're going to play my hand. Shut up. And then, but I don't like how a lot of the fans, it was just the other week, Cormani, he ain't staying, y'all need to shut up. And then the next thing you know, you lighten him up and then talk about him being in a single parent home. Not understand. No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, I don't roll like that.
And I hate it when people bash kids for being in a one-parent home. Like, that's what they chose. That has nothing to do with anything.
Did Cormani ever get a fair shake? I mean, as soon as he came in, they were showing him in a bad light. They don't do that to Jordan Seaton. They don't show Jordan Seaton getting beat in practice reps. They don't show him.
Yeah, they don't show that shit at all. They don't even show his rep. I'm like, damn, where his rep at? I'm trying to see what's happening.
But
he
Peter,
did not have a fair.
But Peter, here go the thing. Folks will sit back and log down. I want to know what you think too, really, Flaw. It's like, I think Colorado is going to be fine. But when you sit back and say, yeah, they was dominating, the offense was dominating against a team that was last year like the 133rd defense, you can't sit here in practice. Now, I'm not saying they didn't get better. They have gotten better. But we don't know how much better because, again, this is practice. So my thing is that why can't it be to a point where we just look at the process, enjoy the process, watch them do what they're doing versus everybody that comes in as a dog, and everybody that leaves is a dub.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think the problem is talent. I think it's play calling. I think they rely on the pass too much. They don't run the ball enough. You know, they're real funny with the plays, real funny with the personnel. Certain people starting shouldn't be starting. Certain guys don't get playing time. I felt like Omari Millian should have been starting, after that 200-yard game versus USC. So I feel like they don't use the personnel as good as they should.
I agree. Well, but then I think we want a certain level of like communication and certain things, but then like look at how Coach Prime is communicating with us. So why would we? He's also said they were dogs and then they left and they were duds. So it's like at some point I can't be too mad at these grown people because they're acting just like Coach Prime is acting towards them. That's why I made my video and I said the power dynamics of this is screwed up. The power dynamics of this screwed Cormani more than we're willing to admit. And it's because they have control. They are the ones that get to show what they want to show. They get to talk to him how they want to talk to him, and we get to hear it. Cormani's voice isn't as loud as theirs. It's just not. And
he's
so, yeah, it's just, it was a terrible situation. Go ahead, Law.
I don't think he did anything outside the normal. It's a,
Law, you're breaking up.
but it's just like if you get 1 5-star and he's the jewel of your class, then you can't break him. Not
You're
or
breaking in and you're
you
going
know.
in and out, Law. He can't hear me.
Can y'all hear me?
No, we
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
You're breaking up.
I mean, I don't see any recruits looking at Cormani and the way that was handling it and saying, I want to come to see you. You know, I mean, so far they don't have a single recruit in 2025. They don't have anyone. I mean, I looked at Nebraska. I looked at a couple teams. They got 7 or 10 recruits right now for next year. And I think a lot of the recruits aren't signing up, like Winston Watkins when he decommitted, because a lot of them are saying, I don't know if Deion's going to be there next year. Now they could say, we don't know if we're going to get treated well because of what happened with Cormani, or we don't know if we're going to get recruited over, especially wide receivers and defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Peter coming through with some good wisdom on this Monday. Oh,
yeah, I looked at that guy. That's exactly what I thought when I saw Hayes. You know, you got like 150 YouTube channels that follow Colorado, so there's a lot of hype. And a guy like that guy, I looked at his stats. He had about 3.5 sacks a year as an edge rusher. He played 4 full seasons, so he's not going to get a lot better. That's the way to look at it.
Who are you talking about? Which recruit?
The new guy they just got, Hayes.
Dolan Hayes. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Look at his stats. I looked, like they said, okay, this guy has 13 sacks in his career. I said, wow, that's awesome. What did he play? 2 years? He got 6 a year. I looked, he played 4 full seasons. He averaged he had 4 sacks, 3.5, 3 sacks, and 2.5, and it came out to exactly almost 3 a year. So I mean, you're looking at a guy that's getting 3 sacks a year. He's playing in 10 games. That's about a sack every 3 games as an edge rusher. He's bringing you about 30 tackles his whole career. That's not a lot. That's not a lot of production.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's a sack every 3 games, in 2 tackles. To hype that guy up, and Deion said there's not any starters in the portal, not many starters. I mean, he said some crazy statements. I think the guy's a solid piece, but I don't think he's a dog. I think he's Jordan dominant. He's on that level. So why bring in a guy?
Peter, I used to think you were a troll, Peter, but you know what? You're all right with me.
No,
even if you are kind of trolly in the chat, I respect it. Do you, Peter?
The fans take it too far, man. I think they always, every guy's a dog, and then when they leave, they were never any good. Anything Deion says, they parrot, And I think that, as someone who's just even keel, and been following a lot of football and everything, I think when you hear outlandish statements, I think it tends to bother me because I'm like, wait, that's not true. That's not true. There's a lot of hype, but it's understandable. They got a lot of YouTube channels. Every time they sign a guy, it hits YouTube, and they make an announcement over it. But reality, I don't think they got better in this recruiting cycle. I think losing Hopkins, that's a 4-star. They lost Dawson, they lost Hopkins. Those are 4-star talent, man. You don't want to lose guys like that. Cormani, that's how you build your program. Those were the guys. But when you bring in portal guys, and those portal guys are 4th, 5th-year seniors, and they're coming in over those positions, guys want to leave. You think Will Shepard's going to come in and sit the bench and watch Omarion Miller play? He's coming to start, So I think when you see stuff like Wester, they bring in Wester when they had Horn, and Wester is like a possession, more of a possession receiver. He gets 7 yards a carry. He had a lot of receptions to get 100 yards, So I don't think he's as productive as Horn, and I think he needs a lot more targets. I don't think he's going to get those targets.
So you prefer Jimmy Horn to start over Wester?
Yeah, I think Horn, he's a speed guy. He stretches the defense. He makes the safeties commit. He also doesn't need as many targets. So you can get him the deep ball, and he makes the other receivers better. When you got a possession receiver like Wester, if he's not getting 10, 15 targets, look at FAU. They got him the ball in the backfield. He had about 15, 20 targets a game. He only ended up with 11 68 yards. So if you're looking at it, if he's not going to get his targets, he's not going to get his yards. He's not the home run threat, especially that Jimmy Horn is. I think bringing in a guy in is why would you bring in a guy in that's marginally better or marginally worse than the guy you're bringing him in to compete with? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't see a recruiting strategy by Dion.
All right, Peter.
So why bring in Will Shepherd when you got Omar and Miller that you're supposed to be developing? Like that guy should have been starting last year, and then you got a dog. Like if he comes in, if Shepherd starts getting those first team reps, he's gonna be gone. And remember, he was a good friend with Adam Hopkins. So usually when guys, their friends and their buddies leave, that they leave as well. So just keep your eyes on that. If I'm Omar and Miller, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Go ahead, Law.
Hey, I was gonna say, Peter, you doing us a disservice just by chilling in the chat.
That's what I'm saying.
You might well come on.
Come
up
up
to the
more
corner.
often.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
All
I
right,
will.
Carson.
I will.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let me on. A few. They wouldn't let me on, man. They banned me.
They're gonna say you hating.
I've been banned from a few places too, Peter. I don't feel bad.
Man, we in the same book, man. You know how it feels.
Yeah, you can come on my channel. My thing is I always say I don't want to agree with everybody I come in contact with. Like that's not what I'm here for. I want to hear somebody else's perspective because I might change my mind. You might say something that I haven't even thought about. So even like with you saying like Wester like needing the ball and not stretching the field and all that stuff, I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I just didn't.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at him in FA when he was at
and that's
FAU,
the thing. See, I don't go back and watch their past film because I'm just like, let me see what you're going to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's averaging, so he's probably averaging like 7 yards at target. So for him to get about 70 yards, he's going to need 10 targets. And as the number 4 receiver, you got obviously Travis needs his targets. You're going to have either Horn or Wester. Then you're going to have Omari Miller or Shepherd. And then you got Baby T.O. coming in. I don't see how he even gets on the field. I don't know. I don't see Timmons too. It's like, why would you bring in these guys if they're just going to sit the bench? Like, it's debilitating to come to a team, put all the work in, and sit the bench, especially as a 4th, 5th year senior. Like Kavasier Smoke, that was painful to watch. Like to see him come in, SEC, 1,587 yards in 4 seasons, and you're telling me he couldn't help Colorado? Like it was painful. Like for me to see him on the bench, I was hoping that last game against Utah that they would have played him.
Me too.
Me
too. Right.
Yeah, but I think if Dion played him and he did well, what if he went and got 100 yards? He's gonna say, well, why didn't you play him all year? So I knew he wasn't gonna get that last game.
Yeah, that's a good point. You do, Peter, I have a question for you. Would you say that because of what you saw last year, it's impacting the way that you're assessing the team this year? Like last year, were you like, oh, okay, he said he's a dog, he's gonna be great, blah blah, and you were like brought in, and then you saw the product, and so now this year you're kind of like, I don't know. Or how were you last year? Like, did you evolve to be this way, or like how were you last year?
Well, I evolved. I would see they would bring in players, and I'd look at it like when they brought in, let's see. So even when the hype around like the guy like Mateer. So Mateer came in, he had what? I looked in the season. I looked at his wins, and I looked at Will Shepherd. Will Shepherd, I saw in the first 6 games, he had about 100 yards a game. And the last 6 games of the season, he had about 30, 40 yards a game. Some games he had 8 yards. He had a few games against Ole Miss. He had a few games where he had like 20, 30 yards for the whole game. So in the last half of the season, when they started playing the better teams, he struggled. So when I look back at the numbers and I saw that, I looked at Shimon Mateer. In Cincinnati, only had 2 wins. In their 2 wins, Mateer had 13 yards in 2 games. So I said, I don't think Mateer's going to be the guy this year. And sure enough, they were hyping him like, oh, Mateer's a dog. He's a dog. Mikey Harrison had more yards than him, and he had clutch catches. So same with Will Shepherd. Will Shepherd, they were like, he's a 2,500 yard receiver. He's great. And then when I looked at the game logs per game, look at his last 6 games. When they started playing those tough SEC teams, he struggled a lot. He was getting about 30, 40 yards a game. So I'm not sold on him being better than Omar Miller if it's a fair competition. But is
Oh,
it
so
going to be fair?
you're saying all of his better games came against at the beginning of the year when
These
they
are
before they got into like the SEC games.
Yeah, once they played it in-house games, he struggled. He was that's remember when a guy's leaving and he's got an 800-yard season and he's got under his belt like 2,500 yards. You gotta say, why is he leaving? He's the number one wide receiver. You know, he's in the SEC. He's in it. Yeah, the team struggled, but you got to look at those numbers a little more in depth, and then you
Yeah.
see how he really got targeted those last 6 games because they probably put their best DB against him and he struggled. You know, so I think that I don't think Will Shepherd he's coming in with a bigger pedigree than Omari Miller, but I don't know if he's better than Omari Miller.
Okay.
Talent for talent, I don't think he is. But when you get down to the politics of it, they got to start him. You're not going to bring a 4th, 5th year guy and put him on the bench in his final year. So
Yeah,
it's
I agree.
interesting. But
Nicole,
I think
go. What do you guys think? I mean, because listen, Peter's up here dropping knowledge, so
I'm just over here agreeing. Ain't nothing I can say. He's saying nothing but
Hey,
facts.
he's going crazy.
yeah, he ain't said nothing I disagree with yet.
Okay.
That's what so I like Peter better on the panel. Peter in the chat is like angry. What about this? What about that? What about this? He sucks. He's terrible. And then you call Dion, you spell his name Deon. I'm like, is he being petty? Why don't you just call him
Yeah, his
Prime?
mama called him Dion. It's a funny story. It used to be Neon Dion.
Yeah,
And
that
Neon,
right. I'm
Yeah.
used to the neon.
he hated the nickname, so he changed the spelling of his name to Dion. But his name was at Neon Dion, Neon. Dion, I call him Dion.
Oh,
I
so
don't
that's
want
why
to his mama.
that's why you still spell it Deon.
Yeah, I don't want the Norville smoke.
Oh, so you are being petty. You
No, that's
little,
his mama
you
calling
know
Dion.
what, Peter? You know what? I think I like your style, Peter.
Neon Dion, man. Neon
You
Dion.
went from being hella annoying to being like, okay, I see what he's saying. Now I might be a fan.
I've been watching this team. I've been following them. I've been following them. I like Oklahoma State in that division. I like Utah. That Utah coach has been around forever. I just don't think the Big 12 is going to be a walk in the park like these guys think it is. They're not top heavy. They don't have like a Texas.
Right.
They don't have an Alabama, but they have a lot of mid-level teams. There's levels to this, and they got a lot of very, very good teams in that division, like above average teams. We'll see where CU stacks up, but I don't think it's the walk in the park they think it is.
Got it.
They
I
got
respect
a lot
that.
of. Yeah, Kansas had 10 wins. If you look at Colorado's schedule, they're playing 9 teams that made a bowl game. Who didn't make the bowl game in Colorado? So even Nebraska, the 2 teams they played,
Wait. You said Colorado is playing 9 teams. That made a bowl game last
That was
year.
in the bowl game, yeah.
So who are
Yeah,
the
they
teams?
had 6 wins.
Nebraska.
Nebraska had 5 wins. CSU had 5 wins. So even the 2 teams they played,
Oh wow, they were close.
yeah, they were only 1 game short. But Kansas.
So I guess
Kansas
the only
State,
2 would be
Oklahoma,
Nebraska, Colorado State, and then Cincinnati.
everyone else.
Baylor,
Cincinnati
too.
and I think Baylor.
Baylor.
So it's
Baylor's the
I think
team.
they're playing 8 games, 8 against 8 teams that made the bowl. Everyone else made the bowl. Texas Tech, Kansas State, Utah, Arizona. That's 5 right there, and there's 3 more. So
UCF,
Oklahoma
Yeah.
State.
Arizona.
Yes, Arizona.
God, you know what? That's a great point.
Yeah, they're playing a lot of and even the 2 teams that didn't, the 2 teams almost made it was
Peter's making
Nebraska.
me take my pen out.
So I don't know. The 10 wins is gonna be crazy.
Yeah,
Get to 8 wins.
but
They're playing 8 or 9 bowl games. Teams that made 6 wins or more. In Kansas and Kansas State had 9 or 10 wins.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kansas
Texas
State, Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State had 9.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of them won their bowl games.
No, 9
And
and 3.
Nebraska improved, and CSU is much improved. They got about 30 3-star recruits, 43-star recruits in the last 2 years. So that's how they recruit. They don't go for 4 and 5 stars. They go for like 3 stars, and they develop them. Every year they're going to get 20 or 30 3-star guys and just keep retooling. So you see how like Muhammad Kamara, he's going to get drafted in the 3rd round. CSU is building a program for the long haul, for the long term. I don't know if Dion's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So those teams are going to be improved. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
not an easy division. They
So
don't
what do
have
you
a
think
top
about what do
heavy
you think
team.
about Texas?
Texas is good. They got the wide receiver room that people think Colorado has. They have dominant. They're
Oh,
retooling.
Yeah.
They got Aaron
You
Butler.
need to come on, Laura.
They got Aaron Butler going there. They got a lot of guys. It's next man up. They got a lot of guys they've been developing the right way, and of course they got Ewer as a quarterback, good running backs, and their defense is amazing. They don't have any weaknesses. They got good linebackers, cornerback play. They
okay.
got great coaching, great recruiting. Texas probably a 10-win team this year.
Okay. I like your style, Peter.
Yeah.
Because you
What do
say
you
things
think?
I would never say out loud, but I think them.
Yeah. They got
Sometimes,
Texas.
they almost got me earlier when they said Colorado would have a chance if they beat what you call it.
Oh,
Colorado has a chance to beat Texas. They almost got me. They
that
almost,
was
they almost got me.
Man, I mean, what did Colorado do the last 6 games that makes people think they're going to have a great season this year? Like, if you struggled in the last 6 games, they retooled, but they still had Travis. They still had the coaches. They still had Shador. They still had good wide receivers, and they struggled. So I don't think it's a talent issue. I think Colorado has a lot of talent. They got a lot of former 5 stars, a lot of 4 stars. They got talent at some positions that's top notch, but not every position. But I think where they go wrong is coaching and play calling. I think Dion made a few mistakes in the end of games, especially when he decided to take the ball to take the
Yeah,
ball on offense.
that wasn't good. That wasn't good.
I have a theory on that
He-
he didn't want to have his son to have the pressure of winning the game, so he said we'll take the ball on offense twice because he
Let me
didn't want
ask you, I know that you
as a
said
father.
coaching. Do you
Yeah.
think that he can improve on that this year? Do you think he can do you think those coaching mistakes are like fatal, like he just doesn't know the game? Or do you think they were just like bad coaching decisions in the moment?
I think he's wrapped up. He's focusing on something else. He's got his son playing. He might be focusing on the production. He might be focused on something else, but he's not focusing on in-game management. He needs a guy to sit with him and just say, "Look, we need to let them score." Like at the end of the one game, they didn't let the team score, and Shador would have got the ball back with 2 minutes left. It was some in-game against USC. A lot of people thought that Sean Lewis made the mistake when Shador actually called the audible in those last 2 plays when they ran the ball. Yeah, everyone thought, the OC is sabotaging the game. The reality was Shador called the audible. He called the audible. I don't know why he did it. Maybe he don't want to take risks at the end of the game. I don't know what the deal was, but they had a chance to win that game, and he called 2 runs. Maybe he's just not good with game management, but that's like mistakes you don't see anyone make besides Mario Cristobal at Miami. So those are
Yeah.
in-game. If he didn't improve on that, that's a problem.
I will say though, one of my problems with Mike Tomlin is when he first was a head coach, he would do things like that too, where it's like, call a timeout. Like what? And it was like his game management at first. I don't know what it was, but it just wasn't it. And then it's like it's gotten better now, but it was like I remember yelling at the TV, like, "Do you not see the play clock? All of us see it.
Yeah,
What are you
that's
doing?"
bad. They made some mistakes. I think sometimes on TV too, we got everything in front of us. Like we got the timeouts in front of us, we got the game clock, the score. And I think when you're live at the games, you don't have all that in front of you and you lose situational awareness. And a
That's
lot of
true.
times, yeah, like we're sitting at home looking at it like, okay, we know they got this many possessions. We know in overtime they should kick the ball first, they should receive it second. But maybe he's thinking, I don't want to have that pressure on my son. Maybe he's thinking as a father. And a lot of time those mistakes might come down to that he's a coach and a father, and I think a lot of times it doesn't work because you're trying to wear 2 roles and 2 hats. And I think he's not going to criticize his son in the media, and he's not going to do anything to make him look bad. So I feel like it's a conflict of interest, and that I think once his sons leave, I think he could be a better coach. I think right now, with having two sons on the team, I think it's just too much for the coaches and the players. Playing with the coach's son, it adds a whole nother dynamic to the team where like you don't feel like saying certain things out loud in front of the coach's son, or maybe they hear something. You know, it's a whole dynamic that we don't even think of in that locker room that could be toxic.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know what, Peter? I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Right. He ain't got. We don't got
Me
nothing
too.
to say.
No, like, because the other thing that I think that you're saying, which is again, I always say, like, we all look at football our different ways. And that's why I will never combat what somebody thinks based off of whatever information they give me to make their opinion. But there's some things that you're saying that I just haven't thought about in that way. But yeah, I mean, I hope he gets better, right? Because in order for us to win, he has to get better, as do all the players, as do
Mhm.
all the coaches. Like I got it. Everybody has to be better for us to win. I just want them to win, like win.
They
Mhm.
gotta have a balanced team. They gotta have a balanced play calling. They gotta run the ball. Now losing Alton, I don't know. I know they just got a running back from Ohio State. I haven't looked him up yet. I haven't looked at his film. But
How much
Y'all
do you
think he
watch
gonna be number
film?
one?
How much do you watch film, Peter?
oh, I watch a lot, especially when they hype up these guys. I look back and I'm like, what's the hype about? A few guys was questioning, like I couldn't understand. Savell Smalls was a 5-star, like that just blew my mind. So I looked back, and like maybe he's gonna do it at tight end, but there was a few guys where I was just questioning, like Shimon Mateer, like Shepard. But there's also guys that are underrated. Like I thought Kavase Smoke would have been great for that team. I thought Omarion Miller should have been starting. I thought Cormani could have been starting, and just let him. He did start the last 2 games,
Yeah.
but
Who's in Colorado now that you've watched their film that you think they're being underrated?
oh yeah, definitely. I like Michael Welch. I can see why Dion doesn't want to promote him. I think at wide receiver, Omarion Miller. I mean, he should not be competing for a starting spot. He should have been de facto starter last year. He did.
Thank
He
you.
showed a lot in the USC game. I think that him not starting is criminal. I think it come back to bite him. I could see him leaving. Like if Will Shepard gets there and he starts seeing him get those reps with all the hard work that he put in, and guys say, well, you gotta work hard, you gotta stay. Guys don't want to compete. Well, he stayed, he competed,
Yeah,
and it's
true.
not helping him. If he's not named number one starter, like as of now, and when Will Shepard gets there, I could see Will Shepard leaving. But I don't
Okay.
think the team's big enough for Will Shepard and Omari Miller. I don't think the team's big enough for Horn and Wesker, especially when those wide receivers get there. I think they get there May 23rd. I know Cordell Russell gets there May 23rd. So I think once all the wide receivers get there, I think Terrell Timmons, he's another guy that was he hit the transfer portal early for Colorado, and he was recruited over. A lot of guys came in over him. I don't see him staying. I think I could see Horn, Timmons, and I could see Omari Miller or Shepard leaving in
Do
the
you like
next.
the offensive line upgrades?
I think Khalil Benson's overrated. I like Tyler Johnson. I think Tyler Brown's a fan favorite. I don't know if there's a spot for him. I really like the way they developed Jordan Seaton. I think Dion could have got a whole bunch of freshmen his first year, and he would have developed. I love Hank Zielinskis, the way they developed him as a 3-star for him to
Okay.
come and be this. Everyone thought Walker would start in front of him. So when you bring in a transfer guy, they might have more of a pedigree and more of a name, but you got a guy on your team that they weren't even thinking of, and now he's starting. So nobody would have said Hank Zielinskis is going to start this year at center.
Yeah.
Nobody. No one had. Everyone had Tyler Brown. Everyone had him probably third string.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
guys get developed, man. There's a lot of guys that get, because remember, there's guys that are getting better. You got guys that are like in college that are 25 years old, 24 years old. They're not going to get much better. You got guys that are 17, 18, 19 years old. They're getting better every day. So when you get guys, it's like when you get a free agent with a name in the NFL. They've been playing 12 years. They got more names.
Mm,
But then you get a guy that's in his second year. and he's developing. So it's the same way in college football. You got guys that are developing that might not have the production. That's why it was bad when Deion said these guys haven't done anything. We didn't lose anything. Like, no, you lost a lot. You lost your 5-star recruit. You lost Alton McCaskill. You lost a lot of guys that could have been great, like Adam.
Wait, what do you think about the linebackers?
They're really looking weak. I think if Lundy would have stayed, that would have been a whole different defense. I mean, that guy was he's just a run stopper. He's a thumper in the middle. You need a guy that's 240 pounds that's going to stop those. You know, they don't have, like, you got what's his name? 43.
Trevor Woods.
Trevor Woods, just too small. He's just too small in the middle linebacker. And he lacks the speed. I think a lot of the linebacker play is going to be a big contention. I think the Shiloh lacks elite speed. I think he misses a lot of tackles. Sometimes he takes bad angles to the ball carrier. When running, he tries to make the big hit. He never wraps up. I think he's always trying to make that big hit. I think I think the new DBs he brought in, Preston Hodge and DJ McKinney, are solid. Like, those are really good players. But I think they lack in the linebacker room and they lack in the edge room. I think BJ Green's going to be a good piece, but bringing in this guy, Dalton Hayes, that's going to be weird how BJ takes it. So you're bringing in my replacement. It's like, that's a tough pill to swallow.
So let me ask you, if they get 2 linebackers that you think are good, would your prediction change?
In the grand scheme of things, no. I think they could be a better team and still lose the games. I think there's a lot more that goes into the games than that. But if it's a close game, then yeah, that could make the difference. But I think the play calling, and I think if they don't run the ball, that team's going to be dead in the dirt. All the teams, you saw what happened as teams got film on Colorado. Yep. After they won those first 4 games, they didn't win again. So I think if they don't vary the play calling up, I don't care who they get on that team, they're not going to win.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I would be very disappointed if anybody said that we don't need to run the ball more. I mean, we have to run the ball more this year. Now, how much more we run the ball, I think, is what everybody has different opinions about. But I'm on the team of it. We just need to, if we agree that we need to run the ball more, let's figure the rest out during the game.
Right. Well, the other problem, too, is with the line is people think, well, the line just wasn't good. Well, I mean, they ran 4 wide and 5 wide. They didn't have a real tight end. They had a wide receiver at tight end. They had a wide receiver at running back. Anytime you put a guy like Dylan Edwards on the field and Mikey Harrison, those were basically a slot receiver and a wide receiver at tight end and running back. That's your pass defense. So you can't just say, well, if they had a better offensive line, Shedeur would throw for more yards. It's asinine when you got the reason why Shedeur's throwing for all those yards is you got so many wide receivers on the field at running back, at tight end. You need blocking guys there. I think he addressed it this year with Sam Hart and getting a couple black blocking guys, but is he going to use them? So. Yeah. But,
what do you think, Dylan? You think Dylan should be the number 1 running back?
No. He's not. He's a third down back. He's not a complete back. He doesn't have the bulk. He has speed. He should be a slot receiver. I could see him, being. He just doesn't have the bulk to be, or the running style to be a number 1 running back. That's not his game. He's very useful, but you got to use him right, and they're not using him right. That's not Dylan's fault. He's not a number 1 running back.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's the part of coaching, right? It's like setting players up for success, playing them to their strengths, like giving them the best opportunities to break away or break tackle or whatever it is. And you can't do that if you're not playing to his strengths. He's little. He just is.
He's small. He's like Javon Antonio. He's not a speed guy. He was a tall guy. You got to give him the jump ball. But Shedeur doesn't like taking those risks. He's very mindful of his pass completion percentage, of throwing interceptions. He's like a game manager, an elite game manager. He doesn't like taking risks. So a guy like Javon Antonio, who's 6'4", is a huge guy. To throw him the ball, and he's got to get those 50-50 jump balls. I don't think that's his favorite. I don't think Shore wanted to take those risks, and that's why Giovanni Antonio's production wasn't there this year, and that's probably why a guy like Cardell Russell might not do as good either. He's another one of those tall receivers. Yeah, they need those different type of ball placement for those guys. Pause. They need different.
Yeah,
No kidding.
that was crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you got to take a risk when you're throwing. Because I saw in practice, I was like watching Giovanni Antonio in those practice reps. He wasn't getting separation as he was running those routes, and I was like, well, he's a big guy, but you got to use him the right way. He could have been great at tight end, but I don't know him as wide receiver. I didn't see it. He was used the right. Dylan Edwards, I don't think he was used the right way either, and.
I understand your prediction. I think your prediction comes more from you saw what you saw and you're kind of looking around and you're going, Yeah. Okay. I respect that. Well, and that's what matters is like it's April. None of us know what's going to happen. We all have our own thoughts and feelings, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think my biggest thing is when people are like, they're going to go, I don't care if they say they're going to go 0-12. But tell me why you think they're going to go 0-12. Even if, like I said, you don't have to articulate in these like great thoughts and schemes and stuff like that. It's just, I'm not sure if they have the coaching, and I'm not sure. I don't love all their moves. Okay, I understand that. That makes sense.
Yeah, well, especially Colorado could get off to. They can go 3-0, 4-0 this year, and still have a tough season like they did this year. Because
that's what scares me.
Yeah, they play a lot of easier games in the front, and the last 4 games they play, they can lose all those games. So if they get off to go 4-1, 4-0, 5-1, and guys, the hype's going to start getting again, like they beat TCU and all the hype went, and everyone's going to say, oh, they're going to be great. They're gonna, they got to pump the brakes because they didn't play anyone until they get to the meat and potatoes of that season.
True.
You're not going to find out about Colorado in that first couple games until they play like elite teams in about the 6th game of the season,
Yeah.
Like this year when they went against USC and then they played Oregon. That was the tough part of the schedule.
I think they played Oregon. Did they play Oregon first?
Yeah, they played Oregon first and then USC.
Oregon and USC. From there, it was a nightmare.
It was brutal. That's actually a really good point. And I think that's why I always say, like, I'm just nervous. I'm nervous because I saw last year what happened. And even if they come out and win their first 2, I'm still going to be nervous.
Yeah.
I think Nebraska will win this. I think, though, that they will beat North Dakota State because the coaching change that they've had. And I think they just have way more talent. If you look at the recruiting for North Dakota State, they got 3 stars and 2 stars across the board. I think they got 1 4-star player at some weird position. So they don't have the talent of Colorado. So that should be an easy win for Colorado. But, they got good coaching. But I think that from that win, people will blow it out of proportion, like the TCU win. And I think that the hype is going to start getting rolling. Because anything Colorado does, the hype goes in overdrive. But just be careful. When they start winning if Colorado wins their first few games, just be careful because they haven't really proven anything until they get into that middle of the season. That's when they play the tough team.
I like it. What do you think, Goat?
I definitely agree with everything he said. I feel like that North Dakota State game, I'm saying they should win that game by a good amount. Like, I ain't saying they're gonna just blow them out of the water by 40 points or nothing like that, but they definitely should win that easily because they have so much more talent in it. Now, the Nebraska game, a lot of Colorado fans feel like it's gonna be just like last year, and they're gonna be in for a rude awakening because it's gonna be nothing like last year. Like they revamped a lot of what they already had and added more pieces at important places. So I can't call that game, but I definitely can be like, okay, that's a definite Colorado win. So and Dylan being running back 1, no. running back 1 is gonna be the dude that they just brought in.
What was his stats?
I think his first year as a freshman, he had like 500 and something yards and like 5
That's
touchdowns.
good.
And he was
That's
like,
good.
I think like third string. I said he was the backup. No, he was like third string and had those numbers. And then this recent year, he was like on the bottom of the depth chart. Like it was so many people in front of him, he barely got playing time. So
Did he
he
get hurt?
definitely
Did he get
running back.
I don't
said?
think he got hurt. I think people came in that were better than him.
Yeah, he was just at the bottom of the depth chart.
Yeah, at a school like Ohio State, that can happen. You know, there was a guy that was in the portal. You know, you got a few guys like that they get overtaken by better guys. You know, and there's nothing wrong. That's the type of player you want, is a guy that's on the upswing. Deion got a lot of guys in the last portal cycle that were injured, like all coming off major injuries. You know, and that's always tough. But I think when you get a guy on the upswing with a lot of eligibility left, that's a lot better than getting guys that are like in their last year. If you bring a guy in his last year, you got to play him. And if he sits the bench, it's not a good situation. You bring in guys in their last year to learn a scheme. Randy plays.
So if he was a freshman in 22, so what does he have? 2 more years of eligibility?
Yep.
Okay.
I think 2 or 3 more years, I think.
So we have Dylan, who has 3. We have a freshman and now a guy with 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got to run, guys. But
all right, Peter, we appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Thank you to go. Really
thank you for coming. I'm going to call you. I like panel Peter. Chat Peter.
Thank you.
But Chat Peter is petty, so I kind of like him too.
Hey.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.
All right, bro.
Oh, I don't think he knows how to take himself off.
Okay, there you go.
Well, that was amazing. You know what? Because I felt like he was in the chat trolling because everybody was kind of like starting to ignore him. And I was like, uh-oh, we have a troll. Then he showed up and I'm like, who is this guy?
Good. Yeah, Peter came up there and just started spewing out everything. I was like, okay.
That was amazing. He came up speaking so much facts that I was like, well, let him talk because this is great. This is amazing. Like, and the other thing is too, is this whole time I thought that he was spelling Deion that way because he was trolling. No, he was being petty.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that story about him changing the name of his spelling or the spelling of his name. Did you know that?
You know for sure I didn't know.
I'm like, I have to Google that. I never knew. I remember, well, oh yeah, because you're young. I remember back in the day when people were calling him Neon Deion, but I didn't know that he changed the spelling of his name. I wonder if that's true.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's funny because it almost everything that he said I get it now. It's like now I understand everything. So we need more of Peter. That was great.
Hey, Peter, that was good.
I forgot what I was talking about because that was well, you know what else is interesting is I like when people come up and they do all the most unexpected things and say the most unexpected things and you're almost stuck because you're like, oh, I agree. Wait, I agree with this person? Because in the chat, I was looking at her moments and Mac and somebody else and Nicole. Like everybody was kind of like, okay, Peter. Okay. And then somebody told him to join the panel, and I was like, "You guys, he's not joining the panel." And then he joined. I thought it was a troll.
Yeah, I was trying to see what the heck was going on, and then he started talking. And I was like, "Oh shoot, okay."
Yeah, I know. I was shocked. That's why I was just like, "Okay, I'll just ask questions." Like that was amazing. Peter came in like he was on ESPN.
Right.
He did. But the thing that I like, well, everybody should know this by now. Like, I'm a sucker for anybody that comes in with like research and like knowledge based off of the fact that no, because I watched this, and then I watched this. And then he said he was an Oklahoma State fan. Oh, so it was like, I knew then what he was on. I knew then because come on, if you cheer for Oklahoma State, you know the ins and outs of a lot of things because they've been doing this for I mean, I think Gundy's been there for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So I get why he sees things he doesn't like because Gundy does things, air quotes, old school or whatever.
Huh.
So now Peter did that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Like, it's a couple teams in the Big 12 that did not have a spring game. Like, they don't have a spring game. They don't do spring games.
Oh, really?
Oklahoma hasn't had one in like 2 years.
No, Oklahoma is doing a spring game this year.
Oklahoma State. I'm sorry. Oklahoma State.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Oklahoma State hasn't had one in like 2 years.
Interesting. I wonder why they don't do it.
Kansas State hasn't had one in like 4.
But you know what's actually interesting though is if every team I don't want to say every team because everybody's structured differently. I feel like every team has like their internal scrimmage, like kind of like how CU like every Saturday's kind of like had their like in-house scrimmage. So I feel like that's what everybody does, and then they just don't want to use that time to go in their stadium, I guess. Which I don't know why. I think it's a disadvantage.
There was a couple people in Texas that canceled theirs and just had one in like their indoors facility.
Yeah, I saw that too. Isn't that what Colorado State did too?
Nah, Colorado State was out on their field.
Oh, I didn't see any fans. I thought they said because nobody showed up, they moved it.
No, I saw highlights of them on the field.
Oh, how did those highlights look?
They look like everybody else's highlights. They show the people, regular. They show the people catching the ball and people making the tackle and people swatting the ball away and then jukes and, regular highlight type of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see. I watched. Obviously, I was at my own spring game this weekend, so I didn't see a lot of. And I don't like the highlights. Like it's almost like I don't know if it's because I actually like football and I want to like watch the whole thing, but I don't like when I just see clips. I'm like, I want to see the whole thing. I like when I catch them on rerun, and it's like kind of late at night, like 12:30. It's like there's nothing on. The commercials are like 2 seconds of just like a weird advertisement for, I don't know, shaving cream or whatever. And it's like, oh, here's one commercial. Okay, back to the action. And I'm like, this is perfect. I love that. But
yeah, I know Baylor had theirs indoor and because they canceled theirs. And Texas.
Why did they cancel it?
Because I think they said something about the weather.
Oh, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
it started to hail.
Like Texas Tech, Baylor, what was the other school? Yeah, I think those were the two teams that I know for sure. Like they had theirs indoor, and they just
the weather was bad here. It was like how like the weather is just like it's like blah, and then there's moments where like the sun comes out, and then the sun's not out, but it's like hidden in the clouds, but it's like whatever. That's why my nose is burned. But then it's like, but then it rains, and it was like that. It was like up and down.
Yeah.
But then when it started raining, it never really started. It took it like 2 hours. So I get it. Like, what's the point? Like, why go risk it? Like, this isn't anything serious.
Mm-hmm.
But that sucks because I wanted to see some of those teams.
I know. Well, I don't even think theirs would have been like televised. Or like it wasn't a lot of people who had theirs televised.
Well, it's interesting. Yeah. I just want to see. I heard, talk around town, and I don't know this to be true because, to be honest, I don't pay that much attention to Baylor. Mm-hmm. But talk around town as they're sneakily like getting some players. I haven't seen anything. I just know a couple of friends that like that's their team, and they're like, we're doing good, like we're making moves, and I'm like, really? No one's going to report on Baylor. If you see something. Like, even if somebody enters the portal from Baylor, like, you might not even see an announcement. Like, I just don't think people really care because they just haven't been relevant for a while.
Yeah.
But a couple of people here are really talking them up. And I'm like, I don't know if they're talking them up because they're actually going to be good, or if it's kind of, you know, how fans are. You're like, they're my team. They're going to be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely, you know, they're Baylor. They got a bunch of athletes, coaching, yeah. You know, offensive line, ugh. You know, like they definitely have a bunch of the athletes. Like I watched some video of what they had, what they recorded or whatever, and the wide receivers look good, real fast catch. DBs cool. Still, their secondary is extremely young.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they got a good young secondary, but they do a lot of young stuff still.
It's stupid because they're going to be one of those teams where you're like, yeah, they're young and they did that, and then they're going to play Colorado and they're going to look like they have it all together, you know, because they're so streaky, because that's how young players are. You just you really don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, they had like 2 or 3 All-American freshmen on their team.
From last year. What position did they play?
Corner and safety.
Interesting.
Both of the corners and one of the safeties.
Yeah, I wonder what I mean, you guys find this stuff so fast. I probably would take me an hour to figure out where I could find the information. But somebody, I'm telling, there's like a couple of people here that are just kind of like, have you been saying what Baylor is doing? Have you been saying what? I'm like, what is Baylor? And they're like, no, you have to go find it. And I'm like, all right. I mean, of course I never did, but I'm just like, they're also fans. So sometimes, you know, I just like, I hear you, I got it, but I heard it from a couple of people. So maybe they are doing something. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they got something brewing over there, but I think they'll probably win 1 or 2 more games than last year.
Yeah.
Because it's so like, it's so much has happened to them, but they also have gained so much. So it's like, it's so crazy. We'll see.
Yeah. And the one thing about Baylor, and I've said this, and I'll always say it until they change it, is they get athletes. They recruit athletes. Like if they recruit 20 people, 10 of them are going to be positionless. They're just going to be very athletic, and they will figure out where to put them. Like one year, I think when they won the Big 12, because I think this is Texas's like 5-7 year, but they had a guy that was like their star running back, I think. Or I don't know. He was their star, but like he came in as like a safety or something. Then he was a linebacker. And then one day he accidentally like was wearing the wrong jersey, like some random something. And he ran the ball at practice or like, anyways, he ended up running the ball all the way to the Big 12 game. I mean, it was just like a random, he was just athletic. And
I think that's what, well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. I mean, because what do you do with that? I don't know. It's just.
I think that's like well, I don't know if it's always been like that, but I know for sure I've heard that is like, that's what Matt Rule does. Like even
that is what Matt Rule does.
He gave one of his corners a scholarship because he saw him dunk a ball at basketball.
Yeah.
He gave somebody else a scholarship because they got a lineage in track, and he said, okay, he can play a little bit of football. I can teach him some things, but he's an athlete.
That is so the thing that makes Matt Rule amazing, and I'm going to give him his credit, his props, because he deserves it. Obviously, the NFL wasn't really his thing, but one thing that Matt Rule is patient. And the other thing that Matt Rule, I think, does really well is he sees potential really well. And it's weird. It's like you said, like he'll see somebody like randomly doing a nice kind thing and we'll be like, have you ever played football? You know, it's like,
yes.
Where did you get this guy from? And so you look across his team and he's probably rarely going to have like the biggest, strongest, fastest, most physical, all the things, but it's like they're always just going to be sound. And kudos to him. Like that's an amazing trait to have as a coach, is just
It's weird.
Yeah. And again, like, you know, everybody has their superpower. Everybody has their thing that makes them them.
Hmm.
And that's Matt Rule's. I think Matt Rule, we used to say anytime Texas would have to play Baylor when he was there, we would just say like Matt Rule is just good at football. He's just good at it. Like, you know, you can take that to me whatever you want, but he just, I don't know. I don't know how he does that, but some people have that eye. You just have that eye for talent. I don't know.
Yeah, he got a couple people on his team that they only been playing football for not that long. Like the running back that he had, he only really started like really playing football for real in his senior year, and now they talking about he might be a starter this year
It's
because he went through that process.
it's kind of funny. I, there was so I don't all the years kind of run together. It's been so many years, but there was one year where Matt Rule, I cannot remember the guy that he was going after, but I remember thinking, who like that guy is terrible. Like, why would we even think about going after that guy? And somebody was like, well, Matt Rule's recruiting him too. And then all of a sudden we were all like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay, it makes sense. Like we were kind of like, why are we even wasting our time? And of course, this is like before NIL, before collectives, like whatever. But we were like, why are we even like wasting our time trying to recruit this guy? Like he doesn't even play football. Like he's a track star. He's a, you know, and they were like, Matt Rule was at his football game last week. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
We need him.
it's crazy. They got like I think they got like two of their players on their team are track stars.
Yeah.
Like they
That's
both
how
run track for Nebraska.
So he still's doing that at Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting because Matt, okay, so you know how everybody says like Coach Prime's formula is whatever percentage he says. That's a whole I don't even want to combat that, but whatever, 40 20 or whatever he says, that's fine. Well, I've always said that Matt Rule is like the positionless football coach. And it's a different strategy, but it's like get your athletes on the field. Because you can't teach speed and you can't teach somebody to be competitive. Like, see what they can do. I mean, and it works. So it'll be interesting to see if it still works at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because I think they play football different in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm. They said Bill. Who is Bill that they got coming?
Is that the guy from Texas?
Oh, that's his name?
The defensive tackle from Arizona.
Huh? Oh, he talking about Texas.
Yeah, I think he's talking about Dylan. What is his name? Dalen?
He talking about Dalen that went to Colorado today, and then
Bill that went to Texas is what I think.
Okay. Yeah, I knew y'all was gonna get Bill because as soon as he hopped in the portal, because they got as soon as he hopped in the portal, a video surfaced of his old D-line coach saying, "Oh yeah, he's gonna come here. I don't care. Before he leaves, he's gonna come here." And next thing you know, as soon as he hopped in the portal, crystal ball to Texas.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Bill Norton. There's another guy that. So one of the freshmen I'm really high on, either 11 or 19. Wait, one of them is Colin Simmons, and the other one.
Yeah, I like Colin.
The other one, number 9, is it? God, I can never think of it. I never know these guys' names.
Did you make?
I think he has either a younger brother or an older brother, or he has like an older brother, and then that's him, and then a younger brother, or something like that. I think the older brother might be in the transfer portal. It's like Dululi. He's a big. I think he's a defensive tackle too. I think he would. Who's the guy that went to UCLA? I think there's a defensive tackle. Anyways, I don't know anybody's name. But so I think he's another guy that people are saying that Texas is going to get because of that like connection of like who were also offering. Listen, at the end of the day,
oh, okay, Earl.
If we walk away with this with 3 defensive tackles, that are amazing, that would be amazing. I think we might only get 2, which is still exactly what we need.
You talking about for
I'm talking about Texas. Yeah, we need D tackles. Like
Gotcha.
Coach Sark was like, "Yeah, it was great. Everything's good. Our D line, we need some work." And then he gives a little wink, and I was like, "Cool. Say less, coach. Like, say less. We hear you. Point taken." And then he kind of moved on. And then somebody asked another question, and he kind of circled back around, and he was like, "Yeah, we're going to be active. There's one position in particular we're looking for." And then he said, "But we'll never pass up on a great athlete. If there's an opportunity to go get somebody, and we'll go get them." So, okay. That's why I always like when people are like, "We don't need more of this. We don't need more." I'm like, you never pass up the opportunity to get a good athlete. Never. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't, I don't care. I mean, Coach Prime probably won't if it's like a quarterback, which I got it. But if there's somebody available, you go get them. I don't care. Like, Texas running back room is stacked. Our
Mm.
offensive line is stacked. But if somebody comes out that is a possibility that can make your team better, why would you not go get them?
Yeah. And the prime example of that is Ole Miss.
Yes. Get them.
Stacked everywhere.
Yeah. You can't. Why? My thing is, why not?
Yeah.
Because the name of the game is winning games and being better than the next team. So if you don't go get them, somebody else is going to go get them. So why not? And then the other cool thing is, for a lot of teams that aren't in the SEC, these SEC teams can't go get them. So when they're in the portal, go get them. Reach out. I don't care if CU has 17 linebackers coming on a visit. Bring all 17 and then pick and choose. Like, let's do something.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I don't want to say I'm concerned about the linebacker position because it's too early to kind of get concerned.
Mhm.
But
Don't the portal close in like a week and a half or something like that?
yeah, so it closes next Tuesday. So you have to be in the portal by the time it closes.
Got you. So you
But
got
you don't have to be on a team.
Got you.
Yeah. So like you can sign like May 17th or whatever, which a lot of these players, if I was these players, I would wait. I would jump in that portal. Like, if I'm good enough or whatever, I would jump in the portal, and then I wouldn't make I would wait, see their spring games or whatever. And then I kind of would take some time, because why? You can't do anything. You can't enroll. You can't practice. Like, there's no practice. So what's the rush? What's your Texas record prediction? My Texas record prediction is 11-1, 10-2. I think this is going to go one of two ways, and it can't be both. Texas is either going to show up and they're going to dominate Michigan and they're going to beat Georgia, and everyone's going to be super high on them, and then they're going to lose to somebody that we're all going to be like, what the F was that? Or they're going to lose to Georgia or Michigan, or a combination of both of them or whatever. And then they're going to go on and beat everybody else. So I don't trust Texas enough to think that they can beat Michigan and Georgia and not let somebody else beat them, because they haven't shown me that they are mature enough for that yet. So that's how I feel. And if they prove me wrong, I obviously will have no problem showing up and being like, I was wrong. They did their thing. But I know my team. I know who we are. I know who we aren't. And we'll find a way to keep somebody in a game that shouldn't be in a game. We'll find a way. And then then we'll find another game that we'll like forget that we, run the ball really well, and it'll happen. So here we are. So that's my prediction. That's my long-winded way of saying we should win more games than we lose, and we should win at least 10 games.
Yeah.
I'll be at the Vandy. Do you live in Tennessee, Earl, or are you choosing to go to that game?
I think he lives in Tennessee because he said he played at a high school with Dellen.
Oh, I see that. I played at CBHSS in Memphis. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, so that's close.
What
That's really close.
did you see anything about the Syracuse spring game?
So I feel like Syracuse on when was their spring game? Was it this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, and all the things that were this weekend, I didn't in I'm in college in Kentucky, but I live in Memphis. Got it.
Gotcha.
I didn't see any. The only football I saw was football all day, Texas football, and then I went to the baseball game,
Mhm.
and then I watched boxing, which
Mhm.
was a mess, but but it's
Yeah.
fine. And then yesterday, I don't remember what I did yesterday. I was just so tired. I mean, I'm too old to be out all day walking around and my talking to people and shaking hands and like that takes a lot of emotional energy. I just social emotional energy, whatever the word we're going to call it. It was a lot.
Mhm.
But listen, I'm grateful. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I just need to get over myself. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, I watched at first I watched like the clips because I couldn't catch the game. And then after that I then they finally dropped the full spring game, like everything that happened. And I watched it and I was like,
Did they look
okay.
good?
Yeah, they look pretty good. The
I
off
heard King Joseph did well.
You said who?
King Joseph.
Yeah, he sacked the mess out that doggone quarterback.
Wait, they actually let him sack him?
Yeah, he made him fumble.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
that's
came right.
interesting.
He came right across right around the edge. It just
Oh, wow.
ball
Were they
popped out his
not
hand.
wearing protective jerseys?
No, they like Cal McCord didn't get sacked or anything, but like once it's got to a certain point of the game and they start letting the backups play, that's when they start hitting the quarterback and stuff like that. But most of the game it was full contact. I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting. So it's funny. Everybody at the Texas game could get hit, except
Yeah.
for the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
So I always, you know this about me, but I always tell people like I watch sports. Like, yes, I watch the game and all that. Like, yes, but I always watch like the little nuances that you can't see on TV and who's interacting with who and you know what I mean? Just like the whatever. And Arch was arguing with Sark because he felt like Sark was whistling down plays and not allowing him to scramble and like make a play.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, backup quarterback arguing with the head coach. Like, I like it. Like, okay.
Yeah, that's
I was like,
he's showing that Manning part of it.
yeah, like and of course, you know how it is when you argue with head coach, like you never win. But it was just nice to see him like visibly be annoyed with Coach Sark. Like, and he would be like, and he was trying to, whatever. And Sark was like, no, like he's not getting hit. He's not getting hit. Like, no. And then so that happened. And then there's another time where he like threw a touchdown, one of his 70-yard so he throws a touchdown. He literally runs all the way down the field and shakes the guy's hand or whatever. But then when he's running off the field, watching his interaction with the second string, because he was with first string because Ewers didn't play. So he was with first string, but then watching his interaction with like his boys that that he probably has a lot of reps with as second string was cool. So it was nice to see like he had a bond with those guys like on the first string, but you could tell like you could just tell, like you knew where his guys were.
Yeah.
He was happy to see those guys. He has a couple of handshakes with a couple of people and I was like, okay, like I like this. He's arguing with the head coach. Check. Standing his ground. I like it. Check. He can throw to a wide open receiver. Good. So anyways, it was just nice to see him out there. And it was nice too that everybody in Texas is mature enough to be like, yeah, Manning looked great, but yours is our guy. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll keep him around though. We want him. We don't want him going anywhere. We love him. But we know who our guy is, and we're gonna ride with him. But if our guy goes down, okay, we'll pass. We'll cheer for you, but we know who our guy is. But
I will say that Syracuse, that offense looked pretty good.
I'm trying to see if I can find Syracuse. Oh, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'll save it and I'll watch it. Wait, this isn't the whole game though. Did you watch the whole game or did you watch the highlights?
I watched the whole game.
Okay, I'll find it because I just said that I like watching so lately what I've been doing is I will go watch the highlights I'll find a game and then I'll stream it as if it's like a real game because at this point, like I'm desperate for football.
Mm-hmm.
And I like act like it's a real game. And I'm like, ooh, okay, this is fun. It's totally not a real game. Like I'm gonna watch Florida State's game. I'm just curious to see what they look like.
Man.
But I heard they didn't look good at all.
Yeah, brace yourself. For that offense, brace yourself.
So
the defense looked
bad.
Unstoppable. The defense looked crazy. Like for your quarterback that you brought in from the transfer portal to have no touchdowns is crazy.
Yeah, somebody else. You know what? Maybe I don't want to watch that then. I'll just watch Syracuse. I saw somebody else said, you know, maybe it was somebody on Twitter was like, so and then somebody else was like, okay, so Louisville can't hold on to any of their talent. Florida State looks like hot garbage. Miami wouldn't even really know what they looked like because we couldn't see any of their, because they like didn't let people in. So it was like people on Twitter were just like, I don't know what's going on with the ACC, but I hope they figure it out.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, but yet they want to talk about all these things. And you know what? It's fine. Kudos to everybody who's an ACC supporter, fan, or whatever. It's just a different brand of football over there.
Yeah.
But you know what? Miami has some good athletes, though.
Yeah.
They're probably going to destroy everybody. And then, do they play Syracuse early or late?
Late.
So that might be good for Syracuse.
Mm-hmm. Their schedule is fairly easy. I'm not gonna lie.
Whose? Miami's or Syracuse?
Syracuse. Well, both of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say Miami's is super easy. Well, easy at air quotes. They have Cristobal.
Yeah.
Good old Mario. Does he have a nickname? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay, because some people, yeah. Well, I guess they'll probably just call him Mario. That's easy.
Yeah,
it's easier than Cristobal. Sometimes yeah. I don't see how they. I don't trust him. He would give me major trust issues. I mean, God, that guy. I mean, come on.
That's hilarious.
But he's. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say, Fran Brown is he's like a drill sergeant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've probably seen him smile a couple times, and I've watched a bunch of interviews. Like he is like one of those very strict coaches.
Okay, I have the well, I just highlighted one. I need to find the whole thing, but I want to watch him.
It's one of those like Indian type doggone channels that got all the games.
Oh, weird. I've never seen an Indian one. I usually find Chinese ones.
No, this one is like Hindu or Indian or something.
Oh.
Got all the spring games.
There's this I'll find it. There's this so there's one that I cannot think of the freaking name. Oh my gosh, I cannot think of the name. Anyways, I used them a lot during the season this year. And it was like between every so often it would mess up and we would actually see them live. and it would be like his mom cooking like what looked like bread pudding or something in the kitchen, but they were like Chinese. It was so funny. And she would like every time I'm like, why do we always see this lady?
Yeah, that's so
But then but then I was like, maybe she wants to be seen. Like, I don't know. It was always, or maybe they were like breaking it up from the monotony of like not acting like they were streamers.
mm-hmm.
Because you know how sometimes there's like all these little tricks of the trade. It's like,
Yeah.
stream it for 59 minutes and then for 1 minute, take it away or whatever. I don't know what they do, but I'll be watching. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, I'm about to end this live unless anybody else has any other questions. I love doing these on Monday so I can chit chat. CU lives in Coach JB's mind rent free. Did he do something else again?
More than likely, yeah. Man, y'all, that's free content for him, and people gonna keep watching it. So why wouldn't he stop doing it?
Well, Coach Prime benefits from the Mayweather effect.
Exactly.
And I hate to say this out loud, but also the Donald Trump effect.
Here we go.
It's so funny. Did you watch that video?
Yeah.
Do you disagree with anything that I said?
No.
I'm telling you, some of these videos, I record them and then I watch them back and then I add all the things I want to add, and then before I get ready to figure out when I'm going to release it, I'll rewatch it, because some of these videos I've had them for a while and some of them I haven't. When I watched that one, I caught myself doing like the petty giggle where I was like, "Ooh." Oh, leaving it, keep going. Oh, it sounds good. And then I just sent it on its way. I was like, it's fine. But it is what it is. I don't know. I don't see anything Coach JB does. I think it's because I have him muted on Twitter. So like I don't see his videos or anything.
Yeah, it's
Does he just not like Coach Prime?
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't say he don't like Coach Prime. I would say like he got, I don't know. It's weird because it's like some of the stuff that he says is true. Like you can't really refute it. But others is like, bro, come on, man. Bro, it's not even that serious and you doing it like that. Like I would say that some of the stuff he does say is definitely like hate. It's definitely hate there for sure.
Okay.
But some of the stuff is just him over exaggerating in the truth. Like he's saying the truth, but he like goes overboard.
Got it. It's what is the word that I use? It's almost like a disguised hate. Like you can't point to the specific thing that they're saying, but it's coming out kind of angry, or like it's coming out in a way where you're like, I think did he have a show with Matt?
Yes.
Where they like got into it. That's who that is, right?
Yeah.
See, I saw that clip and I was like, I only know one of these white dudes.
Yeah.
I didn't know who the other guy was.
Yeah. And then the crazy thing about it, like 2 weeks later, they did another show together when people start hitting the portal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's one of those things where I feel like I understand why people say the things that they say, but I also like, don't you get tired of talking about a person that you act like you can't stand? But they can't because they're making money off of it. Wait, what did this Lily said? Mississippi State, Texas. Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me write that down. Is this on YouTube?
Yeah, it's TR4.
That name. Okay, hold on. Let me put that.
Yeah, they have. That's the other page I go to see the rest of some other spring games.
Okay, let me just type that into my. Oh, perfect. Yeah, because I love seeing This is the best way to watch it. And now if I I can just put them on, have one and the next one's lined up. Because the other thing is I'm one of those people that will be like, I can't wait to watch all the games. And then I'll watch like 3 games and I'm like, dang it, what was that other team? Who was that other? And then I've lost it. But now with this, I can just add them as a watch later. Perfect.
Yeah, they have y'all. That's how I watched y'all's spring game because they streamed it.
Did y'all say y'all in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You said it right. Like you said it like so natural. So that's why I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes I say you guys and people are like, why are you saying you guys? And I was like, I don't know. Sorry. Where did they stop saying y'all then?
You said where?
Yeah, like what state?
Probably when you get very north and very west. Because I think if you I'm in the southeastern,
Okay.
but it's still country. And then I would say North Carolina, but that's country too. Virginia is country, so they say y'all. So
I just pulled up a map because I'm directionally challenged.
yeah, I'm trying to think of the doggone
And
state.
they were probably, you know what? It's probably Missouri, St. Louis, Cincinnati-ish, around there. I thought it was like a down south thing, but you know what? I don't hear many people from Florida that say y'all.
Well, yeah, okay.
Is anybody in the chat from Florida?
I think Nicole C is from Florida.
I wonder, Nicole, do y'all say y'all? Do y'all say y'all? Wait, somebody else said YouTube.
Yeah.
Will's post all the. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, they post the highlights. They don't post the full game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Malik did not look that good in that Duke spring game. It was
He
very
didn't.
no.
Oh, Maliki. Oh, wait. They played basically 7-on-7.
Yeah.
You know what else I realized though? Earl says Florida has their own language. I actually agree with that. That's why I was asking if they say y'all. A lot. I didn't realize how many players Texas had until I went to the spring game. I mean, because I was like, where are all these people coming from? And then I looked on the sidelines and they legit split the team in half and had a full-blown game.
Yeah.
And both the sideline, I just I was flabbergasted. And then of course, some of the people I was with, they were like, yeah, well, so-and-so has always wanted to play for Texas. So-and-so's a walk-on. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it's one of those where it's kind of like, yeah, come play football. You're amazing. You're great. But you can be a part of our program, but you probably will not see a touch unless we are in the championship game and we need to kneel and you're the quarterback that's been here for 5 years and never got to play kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I get, what do they call that? What do they call that? Like the legendary kid, or the kid that's just kind of there where you're like, oh yeah, but he's a part of us. Legacy? No, that's when you have somebody. I don't know, but they call that player something here where it's kind of like, you're amazing. You're getting your master's in international immigration law, or some some phenomenal thing. But you're just not gonna play. You're just here to participate in team activities and be amazing. But you're not gonna play.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Journeyman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we say journeyman for college? Well, hell, we're about to, because they keep flip flopping.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that's leaving. But that's crazy. I just thought about that. I never. What part of the state line do they stop saying y'all?
Yeah, because they just stopped saying it. So my family is in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them, but some of them are. And I think they say y'all. But I feel like it's probably Ohio. There's that weird balance where language just shifts. It's just, you know,
Mhm.
you're in this. Yes, Florida has their own kind of thing, but I can still hear their Southern accent. Like I can still hear it. I don't have any accent at all, so nobody ever really knows where I'm from. They're like, "Where are you from?" No, you're not. Like seriously, where? Are you?
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm from Texas. They're like, no. But everywhere you go, you can hear it. Like I knew Peter was from somewhere up north. You could just hear it.
Yeah.
I know Solid Gold is from Texas because I can hear it in his
He got a
lingo. You can
Texas.
tell.
He got a Texas accent.
Yeah, you can tell. Like you can tell when somebody from Florida joins. I had a feeling Law was from somewhere south. Like you can just hear. You can
Mhm.
just hear it. Like there's just certain. I can tell Jonas is from Louisiana.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, in like certain places, you can usually tell when somebody's from Chicago. It's just interesting. Everyone has their own sound. I love it. I love accents and I love different hearing people's like different lingo and I love culture. I love things like that. And then I get curious. And I'm like, why did you do that? Oh, that's the word y'all use?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just randomly asking like, y'all say y'all in South Carolina?
Yeah,
Like,
I love
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you were
Yeah.
offended. Like, hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh wait.
Because I don't know where it stops.
Mhm.
Baltimore has its own accents as well. Baltimore.
The Baltimore accent is crazy.
Yeah. Baltimore has its own accents.
But
Even
it's
more southern,
cool
like
though.
I think
Yeah.
Alabama has their own accents compared to like a Georgia or it's just different.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, nobody cares about them, so I don't even think they have an accent.
I never.
Nobody cares about Oklahoma. It's fine. But you know who doesn't really have accents is when you start going out west.
No, they got accents.
But it's not as distinctive. It's more airy. Like I feel like you don't really have an accent either. Like I feel like
I don't have an accent.
I feel like sometimes it's like the accent's almost like embedded. This is gonna sound really terrible. So adults only comment.
There you go.
You can almost hear it like in their throat, like as it's coming out. It's just like a part of their language. You know what I mean? It's like it's
Oh,
their
great.
tone. It's just the way they talk. I feel like out west, it's a little bit airy. It's a little bit, it's like it's like I don't know. It's just like it's different.
Oh gosh.
I'm like over analyzing this, but
Yeah, I know like St. Louis people have an accent.
oh, St. Louis people do have an accent. Yeah.
Um
I think the most distinctive would probably be Louisiana and Baltimore. Baltimore is a good
yeah,
one.
yeah.
And New York is kind of distinctive, I feel like too.
I would say with some of the states, if they don't have like a very strong accent, they have certain language that let you know where they're from.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll get the occasional, where are you from? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I hear it.
Mhm.
I'll never forget the first time I heard Jonas talk. I was like, oh, he's from Louisiana.
Yeah, you can hear that
Yeah,
like right
it
off
took me
the
like 2 seconds. I was like, I can't even think of the first words he said. He was on a panel. Yeah, I don't even remember, but I just remember thinking like, oh, he's from Louisiana. I wonder if he's an LSU fan. Like you just know. There was somebody else T. Nicole. When I heard her talk, I was like, where up north is she from?
Yeah.
You can hear it. It's so clear. Yeah, the
Oh
Texas
my Nolans is my favorite.
no.
That's hilarious.
That's funny. I like the distinctiveness. It's almost like when you go, I don't know, when you hear somebody that's like from Australia or somewhere, it's like you hear it instantly. It's like it's just who they are.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think there's I'm trying to think of how people talk out west, but I can't like put my finger on it.
It's like I think a lot with the West Coast, like I would say like Cali definitely have accents, and it's more so language than accent for real.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that actually.
what's another place on the like? I don't know nobody who have a Colorado accent.
I don't either.
That don't even stick for real.
But you know what? It's like that in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's like that. Like they don't necessarily have accents per se that I would identify, but they talk in their own language. There are certain words that they use where I'm
Yeah.
like,
Especially like Philly.
yeah. I'm like, what are y'all singing? Is that good? And then there's also like aggression's not the right word, but there's also a little bit of like, oh wait, are we arguing? Oh, are we in an argument? Like, oh, we're not. It's like I can't tell by the tone because the tone is always what it is. It's kind of, I mean, it's similar to New Orleans. Like Jonas has a tone, and the tone is the tone. Like it just is what it is.
Mhm.
People in Philly are like that too, where I'm like, are we okay? Okay, we're good. Like, and then they're like that at sports. So I'm like, no, they're angry. They're angry with this team right now. But man, I love Philly sports fans. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. I don't care what
You
anybody
like
says.
Philly sports fans?
Philly sports fans.
Huh.
They're the worst, but I love them. I love them. I don't care. They are aggressive and they are loud and they don't care. They have no boundaries.
That's crazy, man.
Oh yeah, like
Have you ever been to a Pittsburgh Steelers game?
yeah. So I was going to make a video, and I don't know if anybody wants to like see this or whatever, but I was going to make a video about like my Super Bowl experience and then my Steelers experiences because I've been to a lot of Steelers games.
Oh,
I used to love going to live games. That used to be like my thing.
Mhm.
And then I don't want to say I got older. It's just once you kind of see this, and then we like weren't very good. It's like we didn't have Ben, so I'm like, why am I going to this? And then I'm like, am I going to pay this money to go see like these quarterbacks? And so I just like stopped visiting. But yeah, I went to probably 15, maybe even 20 Steelers games.
Okay.
Yeah, back when it was Heinz.
Got you.
Yeah, I haven't been. I mean, it's the same stadium, but there's a couple of things that Heinz Ketchup used to do to promote themselves because it was Heinz filled. And so, like when Ben Roethlisberger would like go in the red zone, there was like a huge ketchup thing that would like act like it was like spilling over. So there was like a couple of like traditions with the ketchup. I don't know what it's like now.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. It's like they don't care about the fans. They just care about the money. But it was cool. They had so many traditions that I loved, but I don't know what they do now. I think now it's like a bank though. So I can't see, what are they going to do? Throw money out? I mean, I don't.
Yes, I don't.
I mean, if they're doing that, I'll be at the first game.
Get a couple bills.
Yeah, listen, I'll be there. Say less. Yeah, I was trying to see if I could find one of my favorite. Let me see if okay. I'm going to try this. There's not very many people here. If this totally bombs, then let me see. Okay, so how will I do this? So if I go here, how do I share my screen?
Try that.
Video file. Do I have to download it? Oh, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Share screen is the easiest with 2 monitors. Share screen works best on a good computer. Some screens let you share audio. Look for share audio. Oh, hell. This might be a total disaster, so just bear with me. How do I know what screen I'm going to share? Oh, wait, it's asking me.
Oh, it's asking you which screen?
It's asking me what tab. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So this is me at the Super Bowl. Remember, I don't know. Could you hear the sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember, I don't know if I think you were here that live where I was talking about like the hat and all of that. So this was Bruno Mars when he was there. But this was the hat that I was talking about that day where I'm like, we had the hats and the hats lit up. And I like afterwards, I'm like, everything I said, I sounded like a crazy person because I had zero context. But like, here's like the actual, like after the Seahawks won, you can see me like, I still have my hat on. Nobody else does. But it was keeping me warm, so I didn't take it off. But yeah. So here's my I have to stop sharing because let me tell you, I have a lot of things that don't need to be shared on a live stream.
Yeah,
But yeah, recording live Facebook moms. Exactly. And I was like, I have to capture all these moments. But yeah, I have so much stuff. I think I might have the infamous sack on camera too from the Super Bowl. Because I happened to be recording on the first play of the game, and I was like, "What just happened?" And then they were like, "It's a sack," and then we all went crazy. I have so many cool things in this file. I have baseball where I saw Albert Pujols.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he he plays baseball. But this was at the Fields in Boston, which is like, what is it called? I cannot. Anyways, in Boston, it's like a pretty important monument in
like
sports.
the Facebook moms. That is hilarious.
No, it is hilarious. and she's not wrong. But also it's kind of funny that I was wearing that hat. Like that was my hat for real, for real. Like you couldn't tell me anything. I love that damn hat. And then I remember I was like, am I going to have to give my hat back? So, but yeah, so I was thinking about like just making a video of like all of my, oh, look what I found. Hey, Rose.
What's up?
She said she still has her hat too. I know that's right.
Yeah.
I want to share, you'll know what this is. If I can get to it. Hold on. Does this look familiar to you?
Hold on. I'm looking. Yes.
Yeah. So this is when I was like doing my like stadium tours where I was going to all stadiums. So I took pictures like this everywhere I went. But this was in Carolina. This was when Cam Newton was playing.
Yeah, that's the only time people really care about Carolina.
Yeah. I think this was a Monday night. This was a Monday night game.
There was so many fake Carolina fans.
Yeah. So, but I need to go through here and like pick out some of like my favorite moments because I have so many things. I mean, I have like Boston Celtics games where like they were playing the Warriors.
Oh yes, sir. Boston Celtics.
I have so many cool things in this, but I just haven't clicked on it long. It's like one of those moments where I'm like, I'm gonna remember this forever, and now it's like stored away in a file and a random thing that I never click on. Yeah. Anyways, nobody cares about my crazy. Oh wait, here's my courtside experience, which is pretty fantastic. Hold on. I'm going to share this. And then I'm going to stop sharing because nobody cares about this, but I'm sharing. This is my show.
Oh my God.
So here's my my courtside view. Can you see it?
You was that close? Okay.
Oh, hella close. Yeah, I was courtside. I was on the first row.
Because what's the name looked like a freaking giant next to you.
Yeah, no, I was front row. So the funny thing about this, was this game 5 or game 6? I mean, I have a whole I was front row.
Oh, that's lit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a whole. Where is what's dad? I took a picture with what's his name's dad. Here he is.
Steph Curry's dad.
Ja's dad.
Oh, Ja Morant's dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a whole thing of during that game, if you go back and watch that game, There was a time where they stopped the game because Steph Curry had blood on his jersey. They actually stopped the game because of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There we
So
go.
if you go back, yeah, it was 2 years ago when Ja, I think Ja had like 41 that night. I
Mhm.
think he went off. I mean, he went off. I think he had 41.
South
Anyways,
Carolina legend. South
but
Carolina
like in
legend.
the first quarter, there was probably like it was early in the first quarter. I saw Steph had fallen and he had blood on his finger, and they were just playing. I said, "Ref, he's bleeding." And the
And
ref
they
was like,
they stopped it.
no, I'm serious. So you like, and you know what's funny? As I'm telling the story, I never went back and watched the telecast.
Mhm.
So I don't know if
If they heard you on
yeah,
the
or
on the
if
TV or
that
anything.
made it to the telecast. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Oh wait, okay, so I found the
said she
video.
liked thugs. That's hilarious. That's funny.
There's nothing wrong with thugs. Every thug has his day. Okay, so let me know if you can hear the sound. I found it.
Okay.
I got you.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Let me play it again.
I got you, Rob. I got you.
You said, I got you, Ref. I got you.
I got you, Rob.
Because all the guys like they were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just yelled at the ref." I was like, "He's bleeding. It's illegal." Like they were like, "Okay." So then when it actually worked, they were like, "I can't believe you did that." But yeah, and then afterwards, Steph was like, "How did you know?" He asked her, "How did you know I was bleeding?" And he pointed at me, and Steph just looked over and shook his hand, and he was probably thinking like, "Damn, women, they see everything." Because he was like, "Oh, of course." But yeah, I stopped that whole game.
No, that's lit. You know, that's so
Yeah.
you took a picture with a South Carolina legend, you know? That's
There
good.
it is.
That's good.
Yeah, I was at the game when where Draymond got ejected. So I was at the game where they're big. Memphis guy, what was his name? It was like really physical. It was like intense.
The
like
white
the
dude.
first 3 minutes, and I think he got ejected, and I was there that night.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got the whole whoop that trick experience, all of it.
She talking about let me get a ticket.
That was 2 years ago. No, it wasn't Steven Adams. It was he number 24?
Townsend? Jackson?
I can't remember. I just remember because remember the whole series was really physical.
Yeah, that was
and because like Draymond, like all of them had like fallen on each other, and it was like this whole thing. And then I think it was game 5. It had to have been game 5 because I think they went back game 6.
Oh, they said bang.
That's
bang.
exactly who it was.
Gotcha.
That was exactly who it was. So yeah, he got suspended. And yes, I did go to Beale Street. I went the day before because I heard it was kind of like rowdy on game day. And then on game day, I was out there with like the band and just like I like the festivities. So I was just like around. Yeah, 22. There he is. I knew I wasn't tripping. But yeah, it was super fun. It was hella fun.
Yeah, NBA games are fun.
Yeah, and my thing is now the NBA players, they don't play all the time. So it's like I wanted to go see them play a playoff game because I knew all the players would play. It wasn't, probably wasn't the most like best budget-wise, but I knew I would see all the players. And that's what I wanted to see. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, now that I said I need to go back and watch that game to see if it shows me stopping the game.
Yeah, that would be hilarious if you get that.
Yeah. And I'll never forget too. So anytime you go to these games, like if you sit courtside or if you sit in a street or in a suite or whatever, they always have food. Like you always have better food options. Memphis might have been the best food I've ever eaten when it comes to like an upgrade based on your seating. The food, like
they were on there selling fried chicken, all type of stuff.
They had I mean, they had green beans,
Are you
macaroni and cheese,
serious?
like the
they was
real food, you know? Like
they was
it
on
was
the
it was a real like
courtside grubbing.
no, I was actually eating and I called my dad and I was like, I am eating the best food I've ever. I felt like I was at a family reunion.
Bro, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it was so good. Um, but yeah, I mean, that was a great experience. But that's why I said I've had so many experiences that now, I mean, I don't want to say I take them for granted, but sometimes I just forget like how many places I've been to and how many things I've experienced. So that's why I was like, I was gonna make a video of it, but then I never looked back at the pictures. But I'm glad that I saw that.
Yeah, that's definitely I definitely feel that way because I've been a lot of places at a very young age, so I ain't really like ready and up to go a bunch of places because I done been to a lot of places.
Yeah.
I've been to NBA games, hockey games, baseball games. I done been all them places before.
And that's just it. I always tell people I'm like, because I've had so many experiences, I've seen so many things, and
Mhm.
truth be told, I know a lot of professional athletes too. So for me, there's just a lot of things that are just like not things for me anymore because it's almost like I've kind of been there, done that. Um, but it's like sometimes I forget that I've been there, done that. And so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that again. That was fun. Yeah. I'm sorry. My bad. Like I'm tripping. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Oh, I just stumbled across my thing where I met Adele. I have so many cool things in here.
You met Adele?
Yeah. So like let me see if I can share. But the problem is let me see. Some of these things because I know for a fact if I play one Adele note, this whole stream is getting copywritten. Like, oh, that's Adele. Like there's some artists that it's like Beyonce, Adele. Like the second
Yeah.
you play like half of a millisecond of any of their songs,
Copyright.
yeah, they're like, here's your email. Stop doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Let me see if there's anything I have because she like talked to me. Let me see if I can find it.
That's
But yeah,
dope.
Adele's yeah. I love her. She's one of the good ones.
One of the good ones is wild.
I'm starting to believe in the redundant.
What'd she say? What'd you say?
I mean, even so
Hey.
so can you see my screen? This picture over here, it has an Adele signature on it.
Oh yeah, you're not beating those allegations. You're definitely rich auntie.
Can you see
Nah,
it?
that's crazy. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But yeah. She said I'm giving rich on. Am I giving rich auntie vibes?
For sure, you're never gonna beat the allegations. Never.
Okay, so I found something where she's not singing.
There we go.
So let me wait, hold on. Or I guess I could play it and just mute it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. This is so funny that like my worlds are colliding because I love Adele. And most people don't want to hear me talk about my Adele experiences, but I love when people want to. Okay. I think I'm good. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not monetized anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm not making any money off these anyway. Why is this not moving? Okay, let me share my thing again. Oh, I'm dangerous now that I can share my screen. So I put some of them over. Can you see my folder?
Mm-hmm.
So like here.
Oh, she's singing right next to you. I see it.
Yeah. So here's one of the nights that I like talked to her. You can see me like this is me. You can obviously tell. Here's my hair. And then here's like a video where yeah. So because I've met her previously. So
Yeah, I
this
was
was
gonna say that looked like a recent Odell.
yeah, so
I mean,
this
Adele.
is me taking a picture with her, and then she looks up and she's like, "Oh, it's you."
That's lit.
Yeah. So let's see, what else do I have of her? So here's her on the stage. Let me mute this. She's gonna see me here in a minute. She's gonna wave.
Okay.
Oh, look.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Nah, that's lit, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah, some of these I can't, like she's singing. So I here's her again, like seeing me, and she'll wave at me here when she turns around. So anyways, but she's like my favorite, like so Kobe was my person. And when Kobe died, I like wish there were things I wish I would have made more effort to go see him more times. And I just didn't. So when he died, I was like, I'm going to do better. And so I've done better.
Yeah, that's definitely better.
So here, let's see. Hi. Listen to what she says. Thank you. Hi. I have. Did you hear her? Anyways, here's my Dell memories. So that's my girl. So yeah. Oh, wait. Only thing I don't like about this is I cannot see the chat. Okay, there we go. So that is all my, well, not all my memories, but I like sharing. Really, I've been having to catch the replays of his shows. I love my sleep entirely. I love sleep too. You're definitely the rich auntie. I don't want to say I'm rich, I just live life. I just experience life. Just experience life. But honestly, Adele, like I love Adele. Like she's, I don't know. I feel like she's talented, one of a kind, talented. So that's my girl. So anytime I can go see her, anytime I can take pictures, listen to her sing, whatever, sign me up. I'm going to go. But any other questions, comments, or concerns? Goat is tired of me. He's like, I don't want to see any more Adele. I'm getting off this panel. I've been on for like 3 hours, but just talking about absolutely nothing. Any other questions? Anything else I can talk about nothing about with you guys? So funny. If nobody else has any other questions, I know that I'm probably like 30 seconds ahead of the chat. So I'll give it like 30 seconds or a minute. If nobody else has any questions or anything you want to say or anybody want to talk to me, I can end the live and go grade papers. Yay! Yay, grade papers. Thank you, Marcella. I'm just up here. Marcella, are you a man or a woman? I think you're a woman, but I don't want to assume that you're a woman. If you're a man, and if you're a man, that's fine too. And if you don't identify, that's fine with me too. I'm just curious so I know how to address you. And I can't see your picture. Okay. I can't see your picture, so that's why I can't click on it. Wait, can I click on it? Yeah, when I click on it, it's tiny. So I can't see. Cool. Well, I appreciate all of you. I don't know when I will be live again this week. I am going to take out this hair because, woo, it's past time for this hair to be out. But I will be back. But thank you for all your support. If you're listening to this currently, if you were with me for this entire time, thank you. And if you haven't already, go watch all of my videos in the background on silent and do nothing because I have to get my watch time up. But I appreciate all of you. Oh, and I am probably going to make a video whenever my channel gets monetized. I'm going to be that person on YouTube that's like, finally monetized. How much did I make from YouTube? So that's my new goal, is to have that video. So we'll see when that happens, but thank you all for listening. And I'm sure I will see you all in somebody else's chat or when I'm on somebody else's panel.